Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's Town Council Workshop. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m., and the meeting location is 24 Main Street in Gray in the Town Council chambers. You can also join this meeting through Teams at the information provided. And before we start, we'll do a quick roll call. Councilor Gass.
Present.
Councilor Edson.
Here.
And Councilor Simino.
Here.
Councilor Johnson will be joining us for the 6:30 session. He's not able to make this first session. And with that, I'm just going to pass it over to Tammy to begin this evening's workshop.
Thanks. Good evening. It's Tammy Munson, Code Enforcement Officer, Director of Code and Planning. Tonight, Kristen, our planner, is on vacation. So we decided we were going to have a pretty heavy lift for you folks in August, so we decided to sort of break it up. And I'm going to present two of the issues tonight. One of them is a repeal of a growth ordinance, and the other one is a data center moratorium. They're both for your consideration. I know that when there was some history around how the growth ordinance came about, and so I know that you were not at that workshop that night, Councilor Gass, and you two, I think you were in the audience, but it's a really complicated law. So what I want to do is just give you a little bit of the history of this so you understand how we ended up where we're at and where we're at now and what I believe would be the town should do moving forward. So does that sound like a good plan? Okay. So basically there was, and I'm sure you've all heard LD 2003. That was the law that was being kicked around for and it took about 5 years to pass. That one, the LD 2003 had multiple changes in it. You know, it added accessory dwelling units to every single family home. It changed our density requirements, I think, to double the capacity. I mean, and these were all state mandated regulations. There was nothing that anybody could do to fight any of this. This was something that was just imposed on us. So that was a big, heavy lift the last time. And Kristen and I think Doug was even still here, Doug Webster, the prior planner, they did all of that. And that took about 5 years. So then this new law comes along, which is 1829. Well, that comes out in about a year. What that does is that has triple the amount of changes that the prior one did, and has some mistakes in it as well because it was really pushed through the process. So one of the things was that there are a lot more intense density requirements that are still probably going to go into effect. There's a lot of additional ADU requirements that will probably still go into effect. The only way to stop this law, which is actually legal for 1 month, which is now, and this is the reason why we did this, was because to do a growth ordinance. And I'm going to explain to you why the biggest impact of 1829. 1829 allows 5,000 square foot lots, any place where you have access to public water. Not public water and public sewer, public water. And it's important to differentiate between the two of that because the reason why is 1829 allowed for private engineered septic systems at 2,000 gallons per day. So basically you could have a shared septic system with 10 houses and build a development with 5,000 square foot lots if you could bring in public water. Without formally using any names of proposed developments, there was a very large development that was trying to be imposed in Gray that was going to put like 600 houses someplace where legally you could fit like maybe 2 or 150. Well, this made it legal. And the only way to stop that, or to slow it, let's say, would be to do a growth ordinance. And we knew that by doing the growth ordinance that, okay, we might not be able to stop 1829 because, again, it's state imposed. You can't fight it. So instead, I said, I went to my ordinance advisory committee. We all agreed we're not in favor of growth ordinances. We thought that your regular zoning should control your growth. The only measure that the town could take at the time was to adopt that. And that's how this thing came about. We didn't feel that we needed to slow down permitting. We didn't feel like there were all these other outside factors. So basically tonight, after having that go into effect, any other place where I've seen any type of ordinance go into effect with a cap, the night before those permits or applications are due, there's a line out in the parking lot. There are people staying in campers. The last place I worked, there was a new ordinance that allowed cannabis. Those people were there for 3 days because there were limited number of slots. I've had one growth permit application since July 1st. So I think that, you know, you all can discuss it. It's up to you. It's you know, this is your, I'm giving you the facts. You can feel as what you recommend. But at this point, I don't know if you need that here anymore, because there's yet another new law coming out, which is LD 2173. That's going into effect a year from July. And that changes the private sewer to public sewer. So as long as you never have public sewer here, you will never have to do the small lots, which have now been changed to 10,000 square feet. I know it's a lot. Do you guys want me to stop if you have any questions? All right. So yeah, the next one that's coming along is 2173. That is going to make a lot more changes. It's going to be things like you can build a 4-unit building now without having to do a subdivision. You can have ADUs on commercial properties. You can have ADUs on duplexes. There's a bunch of different things like that. But what it does is it takes out that 5,000 square foot lot and it changes it to 10. And it changes that private septic sewer system to public sewer, which I think was the intent, and I think it was, but regardless, it was rushed so quickly through the process that there clearly were mistakes. And so that's how we ended up here tonight. So one of the things that I figured I'd take advantage of this time, because where Kristen was on vacation, I thought, all right, let's get a workshop in so that I can, you know, I know Councilor Gass wasn't here. You know, you two weren't on the council at the time that we did this. So let's do the workshop, get up to speed, and then when we come to you back into August, that way you'll know why we're here asking to repeal the growth ordinance. And it gives you some time to digest this, because it is a lot of information. So does anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment. I mean, I actually worked on LD 2003. I'd done a fair amount of affordable housing work in my career, so I was sort of tracking this. I didn't do a ton of work on 2003, and I did it as a volunteer. But I mean, I think that you know, I think those changes were needed. I mean, I do think, especially when there's no public sewer, you know, high density development is problematic for towns like Gray. But I also will just note that property taxes are only a small part of the affordability crisis that everybody's kind of yelling about now. And, you know, my first job in Maine almost 40 years ago now was working in Cumberland County to kind of promote affordable housing development in Cumberland County towns. And, you know, with some exceptions, you know, Portland a notable one, and some others, you know, town after town, when I visited their planning boards or their councils or select boards, told me, oh, we don't want that housing here. We don't want, you know, we have steep, you know, Casco, steep slopes, you know, other towns, it was like, well, we contribute open space to the region, so somebody else can do the affordable housing. And I think that's why we have an affordable housing crisis and a shortage in Maine now, is that towns, you know, kind of legislated or zoned out things like mobile home parks and things like, and it's taken the state to step in and say, no, you can't do that, to require towns to do more. So I think I was present, at least for some of the discussion of the growth management ordinance. I ultimately voted against it because I just don't approve of them. I understand your rationale in doing it, Tammy, and but I think the LD 2003 was needed to overhaul the original growth management ordinance or state law that was done in the mid 80s and was kind of had become somewhat obsolete, and actually those changes to LD 2003. There were a ton of planners and stuff from all over the state who were involved in that process.
Right.
And I think that one was better thought out anyway. But the other ones did come through kind of fast.
And the point is that, and I know that you have the history, and I was part of that. I was working in it, and I kept hearing about this LD 2003. I mean, I heard about it for 5 years. The point is for the newer people that are just hearing about this, is LD 2003 took roughly 5 years to implement.
Right.
So to me, that shows that LD 2003 was carefully thought out. LD 1829 came about in about a year. So that, I think, is the difference. I don't disagree with you, Ann. There was definitely, we needed, to me, it was like LD 2003 was done properly.
Yeah.
And it was done thoughtfully and productively. And then, 1829 comes out and it's like, bam.
Yeah.
It just is a complete 10-time, just overhaul. And then 2173 now is correcting 1829. We will be dealing with 2173 in a year from now if you choose to. These laws will be discussed again next month when we come back to you with some additional zoning changes to introduce you to some of these in next month's packet with some of the upcoming proposed changes. So,
can I say something?
of course.
Actually, Ann, I think you were here because I think I actually agreed with Ann that I thought 5 permits for one builder was low, and you did as well. I'm going to be fine with this repeal on this one. I can tell you for sure. I just think that was a lot too. I felt bad for the young man that bought the land down on Ramsdale with his development, and then to find out that when you put the infrastructure in and all the time and the engineering into a development, and there's no way to make money building 5 houses a year. It's not sustainable for somebody like that.
No, and I felt that it was important for the council to, because when Kristen and I did the workshop on LD 1829, it went very smooth. It was a half an hour. We had also offered to have, we had meetings with multiple people ahead of time trying to go over these laws because they're very complicated. And so I thought, all right, we have a slot available tonight. I wanted to take that slot and to introduce you to these laws. Because if you read, even I was like, what? Wait a minute, what? But once you sort of get like a bulletproof list of what they are, it's easy to understand them. But they are pretty involved, and that's how we ended up here. And that will be in August, and 1829 will not be, it won't have that window of the 5,000 square foot lot.
Did you say it was moving to 5,000 or 15,000?
10,000.
10,000.
I believe, yeah. And
Okay.
I don't know, I don't have 2173 with me, but.
Okay.
There's also something on here about the wellheads. So allowing one growth permit on the wellhead, 1 and 2.
If they're under the growth ordinance, they wanted to only allow one.
Why are we allowed any?
That's up to you.
Well, we're repealing it, so we're going to get
Okay. I just wanted to know because I was concerned because the wellheads always get, I don't know, they always kind of get left behind in the process, and I just think it's so important.
Well, we
to know
couldn't
why it's
prohibit them. You can't completely prohibit something, so we did it to 1.
Okay.
Like, you can't prohibit a use. That's
Okay.
why we're going into our next topic.
Oh, okay. I'm good then.
So no concerns with regards to, because of the 10,000 foot, that big
No,
massive.
because you need public sewer.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the two things, the lot size, and it's that public sewer that is the kicker, and that was the big thing with The 1829 was the private,
And
and
that's
luckily
only-
that got
And
changed.
that's only in town, because other rural areas have that, right?
That's only what?
That's really only in, for the most part, only in town with the sewer, because most of the rural areas here don't have that.
We don't have sewer.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, you have
So they'd have to
have
bring
public
that in.
water. But if you, for the fun of it, go on the GIS map and click on public water, and you're gonna see there's a lot more areas that have access to public water in Gray than you realize, because that's the first thing I did. Is it pretty good?
Yep.
Okay, so the next one that I'm gonna do is basically, this was something that ended up getting kicking around from, it actually came through like an MMA email or I don't know what email it came through, but basically, our law firm represents multiple towns that all deal with all of the same issues. One of the things that a lot of municipalities are doing right now are moratoriums on data centers. So I thought, well, again, we have the time tonight. Let's put it out there. Let's use it as a filler, and you can see what you think. This is a draft ordinance that was done by our law firm, and so basically, this is pretty much ready to go for any municipality that they represent. And what this does is it does not allow us, again, we can't prohibit a use. But what you can do is you can sort of freeze that use for 6 months at a time until you figure out what you want. Right now, and Kristen and I, we always work, we tag team this stuff, and we both agree that if a data center applied tomorrow, depending on how you interpret it, it could fit into multiple uses in multiple zones, and it would be really legally hard to deny that permit. It could be storage, it could be manufacturing, it could be fabrication. It's all how they make it sound. So there's multiple areas and multiple uses where you could have these. They could bring one in that's smaller. I personally don't know a lot about data centers. I haven't done a lot of research. I did bring this up with my Ordinance Advisory Committee. And a lot of those members do know a lot about them. And some of them are getting more sophisticated where they don't need to draw as much power. They do use a lot of water. They are evolving, but water was the biggest concern of that committee in the use of water, because the heat that is produced has to be constantly cooled, and that's usually by recirculating water that's in the ground through tanks that are on site cleaning it. So there's a constant draw and a constant pull. Some of the other concerns is the noise is a significant one, the hum, the intensity of, we don't know if they may even be exempt from taxes, and they only employ 1 or 2 people. And again, the tax thing, I looked into that. That's what I've been told, is that they could be an exempt under, but we don't know yet. But anyways, they're not a business coming in like offering, a bunch of employment and a place to hang out and everything else. So, but again, you can't prohibit them. So right now we don't have any regulations, and this is going to be coming to you again for August for your consideration. So this is basically just a draft moratorium, freezes it for 6 months at a time. I don't know if legally you can only do these for 180 days or longer. That's what this one's for. I'd have to check on that. But I don't know if you've read through it. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
I'm interested where how we've just had some blackouts with the electricity in some of the towns over the last couple of weeks where the power's been shut down. How would a data center with the electricity that they use, would that have a greater effect?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because depending on the size of the data center, depends on the draw. I mean, obviously, like if you're, let's say you're an artist and you have a studio set up in your garage and you want to do pottery, and you want to have all this other stuff with this clay stuff and going on. When I go out to your house, you're going to need at least a 200 amp service. Okay? You know, you probably do have a 200 amp service. Somebody like me, I have 100. With your 200 amp, you're going to need a 4. So that's the diff to have your house and this art studio or this other use that is going to draw all kinds of electricity. So you have a data center which is drawing a lot more power. Clearly it needs a lot more power, just like anything that your house uses. The more things you bring in there and appliances you bring in that draw, either the weaker the other ones become or your power source needs to be bigger to speed those. So it's the same thing with that, but you're just talking megawatts.
Well, I'm not gonna have a problem getting behind this.
Is the 6-month freeze, do we just have to continually renew that 6 months? How does that work?
I would have to ask, I mean, on the very last page, I'd have to look at the language. I mean, for them in here, it does say 180 days from the date of, so, and I don't know if our attorneys put that in because that's state law, or if you can do it for a year. I'm not sure on that. Never really dealt with a moratorium. So I would imagine that, I would think you could do it for a year, but I could be wrong.
We can do it for long. I mean, can you just keep doing 6-month freeze, 6-month freeze, 6? It's like a, you know.
I think at some point you've got to say what you will accept, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
you can do it
but
indefinitely, yeah.
to be fair and to be honest with you, for, you know, this is something again that and it's you know, Kristen and I work on this stuff together, but basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to change our zoning ordinance to, you know, add definitions, go through the use table, do a lot of work to figure out where we want these, what you want for standards, and then write those regulations to bring back to you for consideration.
Right.
So at least if you could, you know, I would like at least, you know, 6 months to a year to do that. So at least do it for 6 months. If you can, do it for another 6 months to just give us time to do that work.
Do we need to find that out through Ben?
I think you can do this next month and then.
No, I'm saying, do we need to find, I'd like to find out how long, if we can do it for a year, because I think that would be fine. I mean.
Well, we can find out, and then it's not coming back to you until next year.
Yeah.
This is just your workshop.
Yeah.
I would suggest it too, to go for a year if we possibly could, because I think 6 months doesn't really give us enough time to really put a good moratorium in place. So I would go for the year. And I do know that the data centers, the biggest challenge they have is the power grid. So every state in the country right now has got an issue with power grids, every one of them.
Right, and you know, in some of the people, and again, surprising, my OAC was not against data centers. What they were is they because they said, all right, we don't want to completely prohibit a use, which we can't. But they just thought that there really needed to be, and this is why we want this moratorium, is some really thoughtful regulations. Mm-hmm. You know, there are some data centers that are already in Maine. And what if, you know, I don't know about the tax base or not, but what if there is a smaller one that could come here and operate, you know, properly and have another business? You know, I mean, is that going to be an impact? These are the things that you all need to discuss. And so they weren't, you know, they weren't necessarily in favor of it, but they thought, at least let's figure out what we want and what would be appropriate here. And that's what, you know, that's the exercise that you want to do with these different uses.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're all pretty much in agreement, so if we can just get the,
It's 6 months.
yeah.
It is 6 months?
It's 6
Yeah,
months.
it's 6 months and then you can renew it.
You can renew it,
Yeah.
you have to have a public hearing to renew it, but.
So
So
yeah,
we're trying
so
to-
we'll be, but that's going to be coming back to you again in August. I figured what I would do is do the workshop tonight on these two items, get them knocked off, because we are going to be coming back with a good chunk of changes again, so. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I had reached out to Lauren and Vinnie about this. I think it's important to do it at this point.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you, Tammy.
See ya.
All right, at this point, we're going to take a 5-minute break, recess. before we start. Yeah, recess. So workshop adjourned. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's regularly scheduled Town Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. It is 6:32 p.m. We are in the council chambers at 24 Main Street in Gray, and this meeting will also be held in person and online with the link provided above. Residents wishing to participate in the public comment or public hearing portion of the agenda may do so by clicking in to participate or call in using the phone number provided as detailed in the agenda. I'd like to start off with a quick roll call. Councilor Gass.
Present.
Councilor Edson.
Present?
Councilor Simino.
Present.
And Councilor Johnson is currently not with us. Hopefully he will be here. Let's start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Beautiful. Okay, the first thing I'd like to start off with is if we could just do the approval of the minutes. If anybody's had a chance to go over those, if anybody had any questions,
I did.
go right ahead.
I had a question in regards to, Counselor Johnson brought up last session in regards to the bids for the plowing. And I wanted to know, does the council vote on those bids? Or who votes on those bids? Okay.
I believe the town manager would handle that.
Oh, the town manager does?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because I was questioning that because there was trouble last year. I remember being in a meeting with those, so I just
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to get
that would be a
some
town manager thing.
information. Okay.
Come on up, Mike.
All right, that's all I had.
Okay, cool. Other than, all right, so other than that, everything else looked good?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the June 16th, 2026 meeting minutes as presented. Can I get a motion to move that forward?
So moved.
Beautiful, first, second, okay. All in favor? All opposed? Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you a minute, you take your time. Okay, cool, all right, cool. All right, what I'd like to do is I'd like to start off with the council communications and correspondence committee reports. And I'd like to start off with Councilor Gass.
Thanks. Before I start my report, I just want to personally thank Gray Fire and Rescue for responding to a 911 call I placed for my husband earlier this month due to a serious health event. The paramedics came very quickly and were skilled and professional. They sized up the situation and whisked him off to Maine Med, where he received terrific care. None of us wants to call 911 for a loved one, but when we have to do it, it's nice to know that someone's at the other end of the phone and they're professional and well-trained, and help will be on the way. I haven't yet had to call 911 for law enforcement, but I suspect the same is true there. Again, many thanks to the terrific crew at Gray Fire and Rescue for that. Resiliency, I'm going to start with reports. We discussed at our June meeting the closeout of the state community action grant. I drafted the last quarterly report through June 30th. Work had to be completed by June 30th, and then the final report is due by July 30th. This was a real team effort. Denise, Tammy, and Sandy Carter all worked on the final report as well. So that was really a great help. And we're going to get it done by July 30th. The committee has asked for time on the regular council agenda at one of the August meetings for adoption of the surface water protection ordinance. So we'll see which meeting that makes most sense for. The committee learned also that the state tree growth statute preempts local statutes, and while tree growth parcels are required to have a forest management plan, the committee's not sure at this point that they adequately protect water quality, so those plans. So with money we had from the community action grant, we asked that a map be produced of the tree growth parcels in Gray, so we have that map now, and to identify their proximity to lakes and water bodies. Open space has not met since our last meeting, and we changed the date of the July meeting to July 29th to accommodate schedules. Planning board hasn't met since our last meeting. I I have no other activities to report, and then I had quite a bit of correspondence, including correspondence from Ampion, which is a community solar provider, and I referred that to the town manager. They're wanting to know if Gray would be interested in helping to offset its energy costs through participating in the community solar project. I received an invitation to the Crystal Lake Association annual meeting. I was unable to attend. I participated in a VTP status meeting with MDOT and worked with Lauren and Kyle to update the town's VTP webpage. I received a request to meet with Abby Wilson from Presumpscot 2040, along with Kristen and Sandy Carter, but had to bow out due to the aforementioned family emergency. And I also received communication regarding the solar ordinance that all of us have been getting, and then also the fire lane obstruction at Meadowview. So that's it for my report.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Could we go next to Councilor Edson?
Sure. I wanted to start, last month I didn't really get a chance to say, but I just wanted to thank everyone that came out and voted for me in June, and I just want you to know that I do plan to do my very best on behalf of all the taxpayers to do my best to put forth a really sensible budget. I think that's the single biggest responsibility that a town council has, and as well try to turn the tide a little bit. We've been through a lot with this town lately, and I just want to work together and get the town back on a positive track, and I hope you guys are patient with the process. It doesn't happen overnight. I have also had several emails from constituents, mostly about the Blueberry Festival and the Farmers Market, and I have yet to attend a Dry Mills Schoolhouse Committee meeting. My first one is coming up July 20th at 10 a.m. I grew up in Dry Mills, so I'm excited to be on this committee. The Blueberry Festival Committee met on June 25th during the day, which let me out as I work. Lacey and the committee went over various items, some of which included booth layout, vendor parking. Mo Russo, the Director of Parks and Facilities, has secured a couple of DOT signs to help encourage non-festival traffic to detour around the village, which I think is great. I will be attending the meeting this Thursday evening, and it looks like it's going to be an action-packed one. The Blueberry Festival kicks off on August 7th from 5 to 8 p.m. with music and food and festivities. Saturday, August 8th will include the annual blueberry pie eating contest, the spelling bee, arts and crafts markets, and a chance to meet a donkey named Elvis, and so much more. Admission is free, and this committee and Lacey have do amazing work. That's all I have.
Beautiful. Councilor Simona?
Yes. I also want to thank everybody for coming out on Election Day and electing me to the Town Council, as well as PM. I will tell you that I am very excited for this. I really am. And I'm looking forward to the journey ahead. I think it's going to be a great chance to really pull things together for Gray. And I just want to say again, thank you. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the cost sharing committee that I am on. We have had some progress now. Cost sharing committee is the school between Gray and New Gloucester on how we share the costs. We had a petition in November of last year asking for that to be updated. And the update today is we have a facilitator 9 months later. And so hopefully this will move along a little faster. Her name is Jennifer Pula. And the process right now is we need to have a committee date, and that seems to be a struggle as well. So hopefully that won't take another 9 months, and hopefully we can get that on track. So that's exciting to know that we finally have a facilitator. The other thing is I wanted to say that I am on the Finance Committee, and we've had a lot of growth this year on the Finance Committee. I'm excited to see a new member coming on tonight, and the Finance Committee has come a long way. I know that Bob Coleman had said when he was on the prior year that they only met 3 times in the whole year, and so a total of 3 hours, and he said they never accomplished one thing. And that was pretty sad for me to hear that. Well, this year we had serious cancellations again. I think we met 4, maybe 5 times again, so we're still lacking in that area. And But we now get the warrants, which are like the register of accounts payables with payroll. And so we're actually seeing where the money is going, and they never saw that in the past. So I think that's a big step in the right direction, because we've actually seen a lot of things now that really make us way more informed about what we know going on in the town for expenditures and stuff, and it will help us a lot on the budget process. So I'm pretty excited that the Finance Committee is going to be headed in the right direction. Bob Coleman is supposed to stay on, and we have a new inductee tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. So I didn't have any other committees. I did have an email in regards to the same ones the rest got, but I did have a code of ethic. They wanted to say that they were in favor of a new code of ethics, or code of conduct. So that's all I had.
Beautiful. Councilor Johnson?
Yeah, I didn't have any of my committees meet yet since our last meeting. I did get a few phone calls about the closure of the transfer station, just inquiring into the procedure, if, you know, is there a policy, so on. And I spoke with Lauren about that, and I got back to the couple people that called to me. Also, I did get the same emails that everybody else did, and one about the about some solar lights as far as for speeding, and that was it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you want to give them a little bit more insight with regards to what happened at the transfer station?
Oh, yes, the transfer station just, you know, as you know, the temperatures were extremely high over the last few weeks, and there were a couple days when they closed early due to the high temperatures. There wasn't an area for them to cool off in. I don't know if the AC was broken or not replaced yet, but I guess that there is an area for them to cool down now if they need to. There is no policy from what I understand, but they made the decision to close for safety reasons.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I had a committee, finance committee meeting on 6:30, and you know, as Judy said, I think one of the things we're trying to do is get them more involved, to get them more information. You know, the more eyes and ears on any situation, the better. Everybody always has a different view and a different angle, and collectively, I think that benefits everybody. So this year, I think we're going to see a lot more activity with that group, which I welcome. Tomorrow we have a meeting with the Ordinance Advisory Committee, and we will be further discussing zoning and something that Doug Webster had started, and we're looking to hopefully bring that to fruition and get that moving. The one thing I do want to say is that we really want to hear from people in the town, whether it's email, here in person, online. You know, this is your town. I'm not going to say that we always maybe like everything that we hear, but the reality is we want to hear it. Everybody has a voice, everybody has a view and an angle, and I would really like to not only hear those, but I'd like to really hear your thoughts and ideas, maybe ways that we can do things better, improve things. Maybe you have an area of expertise we don't have. So I would really like to hear that and get your feedback during the course of the year. And one of our goals is to make sure that we are improving our communication. And if for some reason we do put something out that was incorrect, our goal would be to correct that as quickly as possible. A lot of the times that we get information, all of us, sometimes it's being fed by somebody else, whether it's in the town or whatever. And if we don't give them enough time, sometimes if they have to rush, they may make an error. So our goal is to make sure that our communication is good, that we give you correct information. And I will tell you, with regards to what Pam said about the budget, our goal this year is to make sure that you folks get budget information well ahead of time so that you can ask all the questions you want, you can look through it thoroughly, and you can have a greater voice than maybe you have in the past. At this time, I'd like to hear a report from our town manager, Laura.
Good evening.
Over to you.
It's going to be very short because unfortunately I'm losing my voice.
Get your mic.
Oh,
Whisper it.
good evening. It's going to be very short. Unfortunately, I'm losing my voice, but just a few things. The annual chicken barbecue at the fire station is August 1st. It's drive-through only. They start serving at 12 p.m. Until there's no longer any meals remaining. You do have the ability to order online, There is a link on our website, or you can contact the town office if you need assistance with how to do that. The phone number is 657-3339. And the only other thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that the town of Gray has a new business resource directory. So that is available on our website. It's an enhanced business directory powered by Blue Dot. It gives the town's businesses the option of requesting an update to their information in real time, which will come to our IT department for approval. So if you have a business in Gray and you want to go and see what we have for information, and if there needs to be any updates, I would encourage you to check that out. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, we are going to open up public comments of non-agenda items. So at this time, the public is invited to address the council on items not listed on tonight's agenda. Speakers may comment on agenda items before council deliberation begins, but comments are limited to 3 minutes, and each person may speak once unless recognized by the chair to clarify or provide new information. Public comment is not intended for debate and will close when no new information is being presented. So if somebody would like to come up and speak, no matter how old, they can come up. Yes. And again, all I would ask is that you just state your name and your location. Thank you.
Ready? I'm ready
Yeah,
for
go
you.
right ahead. You go. You take your time.
Lisa Elena Gilmore, 208 Portland Road. A week ago Monday, interim town manager Aslan informed me that an unnamed council member told her that my son Abraham cannot walk around town hall unsupervised in case something should happen. I asked Miss Aslan what that something might be, and she said Abe could fall and the town would be responsible. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm upstairs running a bridge game, and Abraham is at his community program. Last Monday, his program was closed because of the 4th of July weekend, so he came to town hall with me. On Thursdays, I'm upstairs at senior games day. Abraham does not have program on Thursdays and often comes with me. Abe does not stay upstairs the whole time. He takes the elevator, he uses the men's room, he uses the water fountain. He likes to walk around the foyer and look at all the paper. He loves looking at papers, and he has finally learned not to take them. I'm told he often stands by the elevator, and frequently he goes outside and sits in our car. Sometimes the planning staff invite him up, and he sits at the big brown table where they spoil him with a drink of water and maybe even a snack. Abraham does not, to the best of my knowledge, go into the clerk's office. He doesn't come into council chambers, he doesn't go in the kitchen, he doesn't go in the small conference room, he doesn't go in the women's restroom. He does not interrupt anyone who's working. Abe is nonverbal, so he's not talking to anyone. And since he's not very comfortable around people, he's not approaching anyone. If someone approaches him, he usually turns away. Coming to town hall has been Abe's and my routine for at least the last 3 years now, and suddenly there's an issue. I can't imagine why, looking at my son, someone might label him as a high fall risk. He's very steady on his feet. I do know that anyone looking at my son will recognize that he is an adult male with an intellectual disability, specifically Down syndrome. And sadly, there are still people in the world who are uncomfortable being around people with disabilities. Fortunately, this is hardly my experience at Gray Town Hall. Practically entire staff greets Abe by name when they see him. So unless I hear back from Disability Rights Maine and the American Civil Liberties Union of Maine telling me that the unnamed counselor was not overreaching their authority and that their directive is not a violation of Abraham's civil rights, I will not be restricting his movements. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come up to speak?
Lacey Antonson, 45 Lake Avenue.
Thank you, Pam, for covering the festival and the big details. I did want to add that with great excitement, we have a painting that we're going to create a mural of, and so we're splitting into 2 different painting sessions. And so the first painting session is Thursday, July 23rd from 6 to 8 at the American Legion, and each person would get a piece of wood about this big and paint a section of the mural, and then we'll put them all back together like a puzzle. So that's exciting. And then also this spring, there was talk on Facebook about the festival not raising enough funds to cover their costs, and the budget numbers were $15,000. They reduced to $12,000. I think part of that $15,000 to $12,000 was because the town typically kept track of our funds as they came in, and not so much for the year that they were going towards. So for my mind, I always looked at how much we're bringing in for the expenses that we have for the current event, and then sometimes expenses fall on one fiscal year, revenue on another, yada yada. With pretty accurate numbers, we're currently bringing in about $16,000 from sponsors and booths, because we did increase our booth fees and we did raise our sponsor rates, and some of them stepped up to the challenge. And so the $16,000 covers almost all of our costs, and then the day of event brings in maybe $1,000 or $2,000 more with t-shirt sales, blueberry sales, things like that. And so I think this year, fingers crossed, we will cover all of our expenses, including sheriff, detail, and hourly wages. I can't promise that because you never know on the weather. The other reason I came up here tonight and didn't realize the meeting started at 6:30 is that we are looking for volunteers for both Friday night and Saturday day. I have emailed the town council members to see if they could help be a greeter, pretty much be a greeter or help with our tent. And the community is invited as well to be a volunteer, and they can reach us via the Blueberry Festival at graymaine.org email, or direct message us on the Facebook page. And I look forward to seeing everyone this year. And yes, we have a donkey named Elvis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Lacey, what are the hours for Friday and Saturday, please?
Friday is 5 to 8. It's like a sampling, like
Yep.
a taste to see if it works for people. And then Saturday is 9 to 3:30.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Would anyone else like to come up to speak? Kyle, do we have anyone online?
There is only one person online, and they have not raised their hand.
Okay. All right, last chance. Okay, so at this time, we are going to close public comments of non-agenda items. Thank you. Okay. So next up is going to be old business, and it is Resolve 2627-1, reaffirming the rules for town council meetings and workshops. And the motion is to remove Resolve 2627-1, reaffirming the rules for town council meetings and workshops from the table for continued discussion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Beautiful. Okay. I guess we need to take a vote to put it back, to bring it back. So all in favor? All opposed? All right. Beautiful. 5 yeas, 0 nays. All right. So the next one is motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby reaffirms the Town Council Rules, Chapter 602, as amended to remain in full force and effect until amended by future council action. Need another motion?
So moved.
Yep.
Second.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so now I can open up the floor for public discussion if anybody has any comments with regards to this matter. Okay, nobody online, Kyle?
No.
All right, great. Okay, I'm going to close comment, and now I'm going to open the floor for council discussion on the motion. And I think I'm going to start, just because you gave the first motion, Councilor Gass, I'm going to give it to you.
Okay, let's see, I have a number of, let's see.
Okay, take your time. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I have it all here in my notes. So Under the council rules, I have a number of edits or questions, sort of. On packet page 17, under public comment,
Could we, I don't mean to interrupt you, could we, when we, just so we're on the same page, when we open them, I'm opening it up off the, when you go to the website, I'm opening it off the agenda, that side, because I want to make sure we're on the,
well, we've always just used the packet page.
okay, what's the, all right, you do ahead, we'll make it.
And partly because in some of these documents, there is no page internally to the document. So, let's see, so packet page 17, and I'm looking at the marked up version, by the way. I mean, this is the track changes version.
Okay.
Under public comment at the bottom, E, number 2, it says, comment shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless extended by the chair. And I guess I'm curious about under what circumstances can the chair decide to extend the 3 minutes? I feel like that was abused in the last year or two. And so that's one question, I guess. And a follow-up question would be, what is the consequence of members of the public or counselors ignoring the rules? Like, not speaking to the council, or a counselor engaging in a back and forth with a member of the public, things like that.
If I may, I think part of that's going to fall on me, meaning I think last year we did have some back and forth with people, and I think, that would be my job to make sure that if a counselor engages somebody in the audience or vice versa, that I would address that. I feel pretty confident if I asked the counselor to refrain, they would, and if somebody in the audience does it and will not refrain, given an opportunity, I'll just probably call a pause to the meeting and just basically ask them to leave. They'll have to get removed. Everybody can come up and speak. We all have an opportunity. All I ask is that we do it from the mic stand. I think the only time we give more than 3 minutes is that if there's like either a point of clarification, or if there's something, maybe a new piece of information that could be added that they haven't asked before, and I think that's the only time. Another thing that we're doing this year is I think that helps a lot, because last year, quite honestly, and I will give credit to anybody that has a watch up here, when people are talking and you go over your time limit, we really want to hear what you say, and we're trying not to be rude, so sometimes we let people go over, but the reality is, if you let somebody go 3 minutes and 40 seconds or 2:50, then they feel they can't get treated equally. So this is kind of one way that we're treating everybody equally. So I'm hoping, to your point, that the timer will make everything a little bit more equal, and that it'd be my responsibility. And if I don't do that, I'd be happy for somebody to speak up and say, Vinny.
You didn't last month.
Yeah, exactly. We need to do it. So that's going to fall on me. I think that would be the.
Okay.
Well, can I just add something to, since you're talking on this one,
Okay.
Ian? I would like to just see it scratched, personally. I just feel like you give people 3 minutes. When you start I do know last month that, and I loved what Bob Coleman had to say, I'm not gonna lie, but he did get more than 3 minutes last month. And, I think if you start by letting somebody have, 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and then you're tapping with other people, it's 3 minutes. I just think it should be 3 minutes.
Absolutely.
And it does say that if you may decide to let them come up again if they have something different to say.
Correct.
So I think it should be 3 minutes.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're not looking like you're playing favorites. I think that should be scratched.
And that's what you were saying.
My personal opinion.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, I would be comfortable with it being scratched. Yeah, that leaving it up to the discretion of the chair. The one, I mean, yeah, I for public comments, I think yes. I mean, once people get used to the idea, they can see the clock. They can adjust their comments accordingly.
Yeah.
And ask to come up later to make a different point.
I don't think we've gone, and I think as far as additional opinion, I don't think we've really had. Mike, have you had that? I don't think we've had that come up too much. It's good to have it, but I don't think we've had it come up that much.
Everyone was saying, they can speak longer. I think that
3 minutes.
I think 3 minutes, and it's not up to everybody. It's 3 minutes.
Yep.
I
Judy,
agree.
you're in line with that? So
Yeah,
I think I would
I'm
agree
with
with that, Ann, 100%.
Okay. Thanks, Pam,
Nope.
for that addition. And on packet page 27, number 7, counselors says shall not post or disclose. I think there was a that or was missing under between post and disclose.
What page are you?
Packet page 27, bottom of the page, number 7. Did I misread that? It seems like maybe I stuck it in
Can you
there.
say what section at least?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
so we can
the
figure-
social media platform section, at the bottom of the page.
All right, hold on. All right.
I had that it didn't include the word or between post or disclose in the first.
And what number was that in?
Number 7, under social media, under section 602.
Oh, council should not post or disclose, okay.
Right, it's just an error, I mean, an omission, that's not a biggie. I guess this is an example of, no, actually, that's not it. Let's see, packet page 69, I think there was some new language in there, and section 5.8, removal. And I just wanted to clarify this, because I think it's been an issue in this last year. Do the rules of decorum apply to committee or board members?
Point of information, Ann.
Yep.
You're discussing the committee and affiliation policy right now.
Oh, okay, yes, you're right. I beg your pardon. Yep. Yep. So, okay, I'm done then. Thank you for that clarification, Britt. Yeah, I have no further comments.
Okay, through here. Council Johnson, anything you wanna, just something you wanna take?
Not at this time.
Okay. Councilor Edson?
Yes, I actually did. I on page 14,
Hold on, let me-
I was curious, under 6023 at the bottom of 14A, where it says about requests being made to put an item on the agenda, that it should be submitted to the chair or the town manager or the town clerk. I was just wondering why we've added that,
Where-
town clerk, when before it said chair or town manager.
Can you see, where,
I'm on page 14.
Yep.
Of the one that's got the red,
yeah, what number?
well, 60203, 602, section 602, the bottom of page 14. It says regular meeting agenda.
She's not in the draft. You're
Oh, I'm in the draft, okay, I'm gonna go to 602, that's okay, I can go to
Okay, I know,
602.3,
you know
that's fine. Sorry.
Page 32 of the other one, I'm just gonna have mine go right along.
Oh 602.3. Okay, it's right here. It's 602.3A, regular
Yeah.
meeting agendas. Was there?
Well, I was just curious why we added the town clerk when it said they should be submitted to the chair or the town
It should be.
manager.
It shouldn't be.
All right, yeah, I don't think, yeah, I would,
Think that needs-
No.
yeah.
can we, thoughts on that, Council Gass?
I mean, because even if we didn't have a town manager, then we would have an interim town manager.
So I would not be opposed to striking that.
I mean, the town clerk puts together the agenda, right?
Yeah, but they should decide what goes on the agenda.
Through the town manager, I think.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay.
I mean, I'd be open to clarification as to why that was added. I'm not sure, I mean, but I don't see a critical need for it to be there.
All right.
And I was curious why we reduced it from 9 days to 7 days.
So-
I mean, I got a 151-page agenda packet, okay? And it was a little daunting, I will say.
Okay.
So, I was-
yeah.
why would we reduce the amount of time?
So I'll give you a perfect example. It was, the way we've been doing it is we've been doing it basically 2 weeks before it's been coming out. So we would put it out on a Wednesday and the meeting wouldn't be the next week, but the following week. But the problem is, because we're doing meetings every other week now, That means starting in September, we're gonna meet all tonight, we're gonna go home tired. I need all your information the next morning for the next meeting. It's too tight a window. It's when it's so, it's just, I mean, we're not gonna have things to put on there, it's gonna be too tight of a window. So the reality is, if you look at what the charter says, it says 7 days. It doesn't say 7 business days, it just says 7 days. So the reality is what we should be doing is having it out the Wednesday before. So it would be like, if we were meeting next Tuesday, we would have it out by tomorrow for next Tuesday.
Is that 7 working days?
That's 7 days, just not working days, it just says 7 days. So we haven't been doing that, but it's just, if we had 1 meeting a month, that wouldn't be a big deal. But if you're having all those meetings, it's just like I said, I'd be like tomorrow, I'd be like, Ann, I need everything by tomorrow. And I mean, she's working, you're working, and it's just how you're gonna get all that information together. So it does put a little more pressure on us because you're gonna get things with a shorter window. However, this is probably the biggest agenda I've seen for us for quite a while.
Well, and that is because probably we have been having one a month.
Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt. Britt's gonna help clarify this.
I can provide more context. So the 9 days before used to fall on the Wednesday following the town council meeting when we had we were a 5-day work week. Now that we are 4-day work week, that removes 2 working days. So that would still put us at the same deadline for filing and receiving the 9 days before the council. But it was adjusted from 7 to 9 to account for the 4-day work week.
So is it okay, are we okay by saying, for example, if we were having a meeting next Tuesday, we would have to have it out tomorrow in 7 days?
No, so the 7 working days, so when we meet for the council agenda setting meeting, that's tomorrow for the August 4th meeting. That's how that 7 working days is working.
But it's 7, I thought it was 7, did you say it was 7 days?
So the agenda has to be posted 7 days before. The rules require information to be submitted to the clerk and town manager and chair for creating the agendas so we can sit down and have that meeting to set the agenda.
That 2 weeks ahead. So is that in the, where is that? Is that,
So there's a difference
is that in the
in the
council rules or is
sections.
that in the town charter?
So are we talking about documentation or are we talking about postings? Because there's 2 different the charter addresses the postings. The rules address the agenda setting.
What I would like to know is, because I think it's a lot of pressure on the other counselors, I want to know when do they, if we're going to meet on August 4th,
Yep.
when do they have to have it in, that information to us? And if it's not in...
The 22nd.
By the 22nd?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's not tomorrow.
Well, that would be if we were having our normal every other week, but because this meeting is on an off-cycle week, that's why it's not following on tomorrow.
Okay, so it'd be the 22nd, which is that?
That's fine.
Okay, but then...
All agenda items must be submitted by July 22nd to make it on the August 4th meeting.
So it would be, like you're saying, it would be the day
Yeah.
after this meeting.
So let's do one more realistic. We meet on August 4th. The next meeting is August 18th. When do they have to have the information? August 5th?
Yes.
So now the question is that in the charter? Because I just think that's a lot of...
The posting the agenda is in the charter. The prep, compilation, and everything for putting together the agenda is a lot of work. So, I mean, it's certainly up to council.
Well, I'm hoping going back to 2 meetings a month is going to shorten up this agenda packet. Obviously, having one a month you would have a lot to go over in a month, I would think, doing it one a month. And this policy, just know, was created long before you went to one a month, the 9 days.
But I'm just trying to help out because that's going to put, like, you're going to leave August 4th and I'm going to be like, all right, you guys, what do you need? What do you want for the next meeting? Got to have it tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's gonna have
so
to be
prior
quick.
to going to the 1 day, we still met the Wednesday following a town council meeting to set the next agenda. That was prior practice.
Well, I'm not opposed to that.
Do you want to do it, would it be better to do it, say, have everything in, and again, I know it takes time for you to put together, but maybe if we have when we have our meeting on a Tuesday, maybe have everything in, like what you want to add on that Monday? So at least give them the weekend, we can have it on Monday instead of doing it Wednesday, we could do it Monday. And then you have the whole week to the following Tuesday, so like August 4th we meet, and that's a Tuesday, and then that following Monday, if you wanted to add something, you'd add it, and that would give you the whole week.
It would give me 2 days.
It would get, yeah, that would be just 2 days. What about just making it Thursday, like the Thursday following the...
The Tuesday?
Yeah, so there's 48 hours in
Is that
essence.
better?
Yeah. Gives you a little bit
I
more
mean-
Whatever's the
time.
wish of the council.
What's that?
I said whatever the wish of the council is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, like I said,
I mean, the chances are that, unless I guess something could come up, but generally speaking, like a committee knows, resiliency knows, they want something on the August agenda. So I emailed you today about that, so you
Yes.
already have a heads up.
all right.
So that's what the let us know 7 business working days before is, just letting us know what it is.
Yeah,
So we can
that's all
prep
it
the
is,
agenda. It's not all the materials or everything.
Right.
The materials are required for posting by close of business on the Thursday prior to the meeting. So it's not asking the council for all of their materials and item commentaries and everything. It's simply just stating you have an item you wish to place on the agenda.
Right, I mean, if everybody's good with it, I can leave it there. I'm just, like I said, I was just more concerned about you guys than me.
I'm just saying that this agenda packet made me think I wanted it more than 7 days in advance if I was getting one of these again.
That's not gonna change that, though.
That won't, yeah.
All right, I guess, just for the sake of moving on, how about we just say, we'll leave it as is,
Okay.
and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And if we don't like how it goes, we'll readdress it.
Good.
Okay. So the other thing is, there's a couple other changes in there, so I would assume we would try to make those changes. Do you folks want to read through this some more? Because there's a lot in there.
Yes.
So even though we kind of agreed, we'll keep that part the same. I think Ann made a couple great comments on things. We'll make sure that that's in there. And then we'll probably just have to table it again to give everybody a chance to read through it a little more.
There's some things that can change now that we can add, so we don't have to talk about next time, maybe.
Well, Britt would go in and add those, what changes we've talked about, if there are any change,
Well, I have some.
Judy
Oh,
has
all right, well, go ahead then, let's go. Let's keep going,
okay.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, Pam, was you done?
No, but go ahead. No, I have a lot.
She wasn't even
That's
done.
Well, go
okay.
ahead then, Pam, you go,
No,
go.
I'm thinking that maybe we should just write our changes down, because I was imagining what this was gonna be like tonight, because I have a lot of different things that I wanted to talk about and why they changed. So, I don't know, maybe we should just submit our thoughts.
So Britt, if we just, everybody
This could be
went
a
through
very
this
long-
over the next week or so, submitted all the things, could we somehow add them in and redline them and go through them, or that be okay? All right, so why don't we do this, why don't I make a motion that we table this, and then say by next Tuesday? Any changes or anything you'd like to take a
Yeah.
look at again, we get to Britt, so she has time, ample time,
Yeah,
to go through that.
sounds fair.
Ann, what do you think?
Yeah, it's fine.
Mike, what do you think? All right, so I guess I'd like to make a motion to table.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, beautiful. Okay, beautiful, all right. And then we'll table that till, what's our next meeting? Table it to August 4th? Okay. All right. Yeah, there's a lot there, so I'm not gonna. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Next up is new business for business licenses, which is Order 2627-1, Auto Graveyard License Renewal for Kimball's and Dube's. This item requires a public hearing. I will now open the public hearing on Order 2627-1. So if anybody would like to come up and speak to this. Anybody online, Kyle?
No.
All right, great. Thank you very much. All right, at this time, we're going to close the public hearing. See no further comment, so I declare the public hearing is closed. So the motion be ordered that the Gray Town Council approves the automobile graveyard junkyard permit renewal for Kimball's and Dube's Garage located at 23 Forest Road, subject to compliance with all applicable local, state, and federal requirements. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Oh,
Beautiful.
I'll
All right,
second.
no, perfect. Go ahead, Ann first. Mike second. At this time, I'd like to open the floor for council discussion on the motion. No comment, anybody have a
Well,
comment?
just, I think Kevin's done a good job about doing what he's supposed to do over there. I've never heard any complaints.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he runs it like everybody else should.
Yep.
All right, I guess at this point, we can go and take a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Right, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. All right, next up is order number 2627-2, authorization of farmers market license agreement. This item requires a public hearing. I will now open the public hearing on item order number 2627-2. So I can open the floor for public testimony if anybody else or anyone would like to come up and speak.
Do you have a motion first?
You don't on this, then we do after. I know.
Okay.
That's what I think. Thank you.
Is this on? Hi. My name is Erin Bruce. I'm from Pleasant View Drive in West Gray. I'm here to talk about my support for the Gray Village Farmers Market. I've lived in Gray for the better part of 26 years. I went to school here in Gray and I graduated from St. Joseph's College in 22. I'm also a small business owner. I own a plant nursery out of my home that I've run for the last 3 seasons. And during the school year, I've worked at Fiddlehead as a substitute teacher and as a teacher in the after-school program. And I've just committed to working full-time in their kindergarten classroom. When the school year is over, I've looked forward to the Gray Village Farmers Market in particular due to countless reasons. I love watching families who are residents here bring their children out into the community. I love bringing my friends to help me haul all of my hardware and greet my customers and educate them on how to grow their own food. I cherish all the new friends I've made at the farmers market, and I'm incredibly grateful that I've been able to make money doing what I love here in my hometown. My peers have worked incredibly hard on making the market happen this year. And I look forward to building my business further by continuing to build trust through community commerce here in Gray. And I hope to see you all there, even if you don't buy anything.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come up and speak?
Fran Monroe, Lewiston Road. I also am in support of the farmers market and for the farmers market to be able to use town properties. I think it's a good economic tool for the town. It draws people in. They're not making millions of dollars. And so, it's and introducing people to various types of, produce and supplies and honey and all that kind of stuff. So I really hope that that the council considers this as an economic situation and supports them being able to use town property to do their thing.
Okay. Thank you, Fran. Would anyone else like to come up and speak? Come right up.
Claire Zimmerman, Blueberry Lane. I just want to say thank you for, looking at our license. We're really excited about moving to Town Hall instead of the Pocket Park, with the running water, bathrooms, just more space in general. So that it's a late start this year because there was a big change with who is running the market, and Rachel Rumson, who's a really amazing person, kind of brought it back in 2020 because Gray has a long history of having farmers markets. It's a rural town. It's a big tradition here, but in 2020, Rachel brought it back and she was no longer able to continue it. So this year was kind of a scramble, but we wanted to bring it back at least late in the season, better than nothing. And hopefully in the future it can grow and it will have space to do that here. And so that people can, make a little money, support small business, and also it's just a really good asset for the community. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come up to speak? Kyle, is there anybody online?
Nope.
All right, beautiful. So at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. Seeing no further comments, I'm going to declare the public hearing is closed. The motion is be ordered that the Gray Town Council authorizes the town clerk to execute the Gray Village Farmers Market license agreed as presented. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second?
Okay, beautiful. So at this time, I'm just going to open up the floor for the councilors to discuss, and you go right ahead, Councilor Gass.
I'm a big supporter of the farmers market, and Gray in 2020 or 21 adopted food sovereignty ordinance, and partly it was to support local food producers of varying types, and having a local farmers market is a great way to do that. So I'm very supportive of this.
Councilor Hudson?
I definitely am supporting this. I was curious, Lauren, when they say they're using the bathrooms and running water, is that the one like the Little League would use? Not in this building?
The one back, the new one.
Okay.
Councilor Simoneau?
I am totally in support of the farmers market. I think it's a great idea.
Councilor Johnson?
Yeah, the only problem I have with it is I don't think it should be open during the work week. A few reasons why. From 3 to 6 p.m. on Thursdays, the hours are going to conflict, especially it's one of the busiest times for pickup over here, and that's a concern for me. It's already packed here. We have talked about changing our hours, so that would be a conflict as well. I definitely want to see it, but I do have a problem with it being open on Thursdays if it's going to be here where we're supposed to be doing business, and especially if we don't even close until 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Saturdays and Sundays, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I just don't think it's appropriate to have here during the week, especially from 3 to 6 p.m. on a Thursday night where there's so much traffic coming through here with pickups already.
I think
it's
it
an
says 10 to 1 on Sundays. Are you looking at something different?
Yeah, right here it says 3 to 6 on Thursdays and 10 to 1 on Sundays.
Oh.
So 10 to 1 on Sundays or even Saturdays, either day I have no problem, but Thursdays I don't. I'm not in favor of.
I am in agreement with him.
I am too, and I had something here that said 6 o'clock in the morning. Does that
No,
matter?
it's Thursdays 3 to 6 p.m. and Sundays 10 to 1 p.m.
Oh, okay. I don't know what
Correct,
the
yeah.
standards
Yeah.
was then. Yeah, I agree that Thursday should be not included.
So would you be more in favor of, say, I don't know if they extend the time, they could like Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays I'm fine with.
I'm fine with Saturday and Sunday, just not weekday, and not real early either, because this is 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's
Well,
too
that's,
early.
nobody's up at 6.
Yeah, it's just the chickens.
That's standards, yeah.
Yeah.
No. I can do Friday.
I think we have other things here a lot too, don't we, with ball and Little League and different things going on midweek. Sundays 10 to 1 are a time where there's not a whole lot going on.
So maybe we could say they could do Saturdays and Sundays at the time. They could we could try it out, and then maybe at some, at least get it going.
I just want to add, though,
Yes,
if you don't
please.
mind, I did speak to Anthony to ask about Thursdays specifically, and he did not have a problem with it, just to let you know.
Yeah.
I do.
I would tend to agree with Mike on Thursday.
No, I just wanted to let you know.
I do too.
My only other question on that is, I know that they have, it's like liability insurance.
Yeah.
My only other question on that is, how do we ensure that never, like, that doesn't lapse? Or, like, I'm not saying it, but I'm saying somebody gets car insurance, and then once they get the car insurance, then they get rid of the policy.
Because this right here is only for a year. This
All right.
is June
They
to
have to come
October.
back.
So that would be for a year, okay, so they would come back each year for that, okay. I'm cool with that, as long as that's, that they agree that that's enforced for the period of a year, I would be okay with that.
I was just gonna say, don't most towns that have a farmer's market have a set time? Like it's a certain day at a certain time?
I think that's what
Yeah,
we're,
most
I think
of
that's
them
what we're doing.
Sundays from
Yeah.
11 to 2 or something usually, but.
I think they have some times that they want, so I mean, if that's what they, if they want to do Sunday 10 to 1, that's fine with me. If they want to do Saturday, like I said, I think the weekends.
As long as there's not ball games and stuff going on.
Well, it's
'cause it is
back in
here,
that,
right?
there's no ball, it's in the back it's back in the back.
It's
Feel-
back where people park when they come to a ball game,
Okay,
in that
There's
area.
nothing on Sundays, yeah.
Sundays, but
I
Saturdays.
think Sundays 10 to 1 is, or they can have different hours on Sunday, but I would like it to be kept to Sunday.
okay. But I guess my last question is just asking for them is that, what time, I know the ball games don't go all summer long.
No.
So I'm just saying, do you want to let them, because it looks like they would like to do 2 days, and I would like to see if we could give them the 2 days, and maybe in August, when things maybe slow down a little bit as far as the ball games, they must stop early. I gotta think early August, right?
Oh, they're usually done by July.
What?
They're usually done by July.
In July.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'm willing to give Saturday and Sunday. Right?
I'd like to give them 2 days if they want 2 days. I think that's,
Is that what they were asking for?
yeah,
Thursday.
they're asking for Thursday and Sunday, so like, can we do Saturday and Sunday?
I'm
And then
fine
maybe
with
if you
me.
want to say right now, do you want to say Saturdays starting at the end of the month? Something like that?
And they can't do it on the weekend on Blueberry Festival, obviously.
Obviously not, yeah. What are your thoughts, Ann?
Is it appropriate to just have Claire come up and
Sure.
talk about
Yeah.
the, whether or not the Thursday is a critical day of the week?
Yeah, please, Claire.
Thank you.
Kind of what you're thinking is.
Well, the reason we wanted to do a Thursday or Friday afternoon was for a weekday. There's a lot of different sellers, particularly that already do Sundays and Saturdays. There's a lot of other farmers markets in the area, so then we'd have, like, for instance, a lot of the people who were already established at this market in the prior years, when there was some confusion, they booked up their weekends. There was a lot of interest for them asking if there would be the possibility of a weekday market. So then we were talking to the town manager and then the rec manager, Anthony, and trying to figure out if that would be possible. And that was discussed that Thursday and Friday between 3 and 6, there's no baseball till 6. And the rec, obviously they do have pickup, but it was discussed that that would be kind of a positive because there's a lot of parking now and there might be some overlap with people wanting to pick up and maybe go to the market. So the baseball starts at 6, so the market would be over. And the office closed at 3, so that was the reasoning. So Anthony, said as long as the market's away from the baseball area. So on the drawing, it wasn't updated. I apologize about that, but the Thursday market would be on this kind of just little grassy area right here under these maple trees.
In front of
That-
the building or on the side?
In this, well, it's the back of the building
but- yeah, right,
technically,
yeah,
but
yeah, right.
it's
Yeah,
right
back of
where
the
you
building.
enter our
Where the
town hall.
semicircular driveway is?
So that you wouldn't be near the rec on a Thursday. So yeah, that was the reasoning, was the license application said you could have up to 2 days, and there was a lot of feedback from vendors that were interested in a weekday market.
Actually, I was going to suggest that having it on the Main Street side of the building, is that's what we're talking about, right? No?
Not
behind here.
right by the street.
Behind the here, oh, okay,
Behind
yeah, I
Not
see.
by
Right
the
here in our
street.
parking lot where you
By,
park.
right here when you walk into town hall,
Okay,
there's some grass
Okay.
with the big maple trees right
okay,
here.
right,
That would be the Thursday location.
okay,
The Sunday location would be on the actual field back by where the rec tents are with the picnic tables.
okay.
And that, again, was run by Anthony as well, and said that there's no conflict on
Claire?
Sundays.
Claire, can I just ask you a question? Are these vendors from Gray?
Yes.
All of them are Gray residents?
Well, Gray, New Gloucester, mostly Gray and New Gloucester, but there's other people that have been reached out to, just general. We had a contact list given to us from Rachel Rumson, and then we've also been reaching out to more people in like the vicinity, neighboring towns.
I'm still, it's definitely, if it's even more, if it's there,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Because we still have people coming and going, so they have to get set up early.
I would agree. Could we do, would you do a Friday 3 to 6?
I'm fine with Fridays, you know,
right.
as long as.
Friday would work for me.
What? All right, how about this then? We'd do not a Thursday, because I think people, but I would do, right now, we could look at doing a Friday 3 to 6, and then Sunday 10 to 1.
Lisa, did you have something you wanted to add? I thought I saw you raise your hand, no?
I'll wait till the end of
Okay. Okay.
No, we can't. So, would that be?
I still agree with Mike.
Yeah.
Thursday is not a good time.
So if they wanted a day during the week, would we do a Friday 3 to, I think
I'm fine with
Friday
Friday.
3 to 6, and then Sunday 10 to 1? Okay. All right, so let's do that. Let's say we'd would authorize using Friday 3 to 6 and Sunday 10 to 1.
Lisa, who was another.
Unfortunately, we closed
Yeah.
public hearing comments. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
It is.
All right, so let's, I guess at this time, yeah, was a Friday 3 to 6, Sunday 10 to 1. All in favor? All opposed? All right, beautiful. There you go. Thank you. Look forward to going there. Okay. The next item, next order is one reading required. It is Order 2627-3, setting the tax due dates, interest rate for delinquent taxes, overpayment of taxes, and prepaid taxes for FY '27. Motion be ordered the Gray Town Council to fix Thursday, October 1st, 2026, and Thursday, April 1st, 2027, as the dates upon each of which 1/2 of the taxes are due and payable, with interest to accrue upon taxes due and unpaid after each such date at the rate of 7% per annum. In accordance with 36 MRSA Section 506, the tax collector and town treasurer are authorized to accept prepayment or decline prepayment of taxes not yet committed or prior to any due date and pay no interest thereon. In accordance with 36 MRSA Section 506A, a taxpayer who pays an amount accepted by the tax collector and town treasurer in excess of that finally assessed shall be repaid the amount of overpayment plus interest from the date of overpayment at the rate of 3% per annum, and hereby authorizes and directs said tax collector treasurer pursuant to Title 26, Maine Revised Status Annotated, Section 906, to apply any tax payment received from an individual as payment for any property tax against outstanding or delinquent taxes due on said property in chronological order beginning with the oldest unpaid tax bill, provided, however, that no such payment may be applied to any tax for which an abatement, application, or appeal is pending unless approved in writing by the taxpayer. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, beautiful. Pam did. All right, let's open the floor for discussion on this matter. Any questions?
I just want to comment that I think you said Title 26. It reads 36 in my version.
Is it, did they say it should have been 36 on both?
Okay.
So, yes. Anything for discussion? I think it's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
All right, beautiful. Let's take a vote. All in favor? All opposed? All right, beautiful. 5 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. Next one. All right, so the next one, let's see, is Order 2627-4, Committee Policy Amendments and Updates. Motion be ordered that the Gray Town Council adopts the updated committee policy as presented, effective immediately. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? All right, beautiful. So at this time, I'm going to open the floor for public discussion on this motion. If anybody would like to come up and speak.
Earlier was mentioned, a question was made asking why staff would be included with, coming up with the agendas and that type of thing. So I guess when there seems to be an awful lot of staff input into when we're doing policies or other kinds of changes. And I think I want to draw the council's attention to the fact that, the staff is not elected. The council is elected. And staff, puts the information together, obviously, to get to the council and stuff. But they shouldn't be having as much say in what's going on in town government. And I don't know how many years ago, time goes by so fast for me, but I spoke to this quite a few years ago because the same thing was happening. And noticed, and that was creeping back again, that the staff is having a lot more say. I really think the council needs to address it and really scrutinize what's going on with that. Remember, you're elected, the staff is not elected. And I had said that in maybe 15, 20, 30 years, who knows, okay?
No. Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up to speak? All right, you take your time. It's not a race.
Brad Fogg, 127 Shaker Road. I will freely admit that I did not have an opportunity, nor did I take the opportunity to review the agenda that closely. But if there is a policy addressing committees or boards, it might have been nice to send that policy to the committee or board for input and feedback before it's adopted, to make sure that there's no conflict of interest or conflict in between the policy, let's say, and state statutes, if you're a quasi-judicial board, things like that. That's all I would say. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Would anybody else like to come up? Kyle, is there anybody online?
No.
All right, beautiful. So at this time, I'm going to close discussion there and open the floor for council discussion on the motion.
I do agree with Brad. I think it would have been nice. It's probably just an oversight, but I think it would have been nice, especially to the chairs of the boards and the committees, that they had a chance to just look this stuff over so we don't miss anything.
Okay. I would not disagree with that. What are your thoughts, Ann?
Yeah, I think it's a good practice to do.
Well, I guess what we could, any questions? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was there's a lot of changes on here that I would have made on here, and the first one is to do what Brad said, because I am on the committee for the Finance Committee, and this thing has totally changed, and it's nowhere near what it should be. So I had like 6 or 7 things that needed to be added into the Finance Committee itself. I mean, the Finance Committee's come a long way, but we definitely have some challenges. And so I think this is a chance for us to really tighten the things up on here. I mean, we're not getting our statements and our revenues and expenses when we're supposed to be. We're not getting warrants, and we're just really flubbing on here. So I think this would be a chance for us to really pull things together. And I think the chair of every committee that's been on the chair for the last year needs to come forward, get a copy of this, and make their recommendations to the council. I think it's extremely important, because this is what we're going to be running the business by. I had a lot of other changes on here. There was a lot of shells, and instead of saying we will, it says shall. There's maybe. I mean, it's like may.
Instead of shall.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like verbiage in here that needs to be cleaned up. I had a ton of stuff in here, so there's no way I'm going to get it through it tonight. So I would definitely try to table it for tonight, and we send our stuff over to Brett, and maybe give the chair people another week or two, maybe before the next council meeting or the one after that, so that they have time to.
I would say
digest
it's
this.
going to take longer than that, because most of the committees won't meet before the next council meeting.
Oh, okay. But they could get this in an email and advise them.
How about this? So what they're saying, Mike, is that there were a lot of changes in this, and that we should give it to the committees to take a look at. So how about this? Would you be amicable if we just said, why don't we table this until the August 18th workshop?
I think that's even going to be
Think so?
stretching it. Yeah, I would say September, just because and correct me, Ann, if I'm wrong, is that some of these may not meet before then. You've got to get everyone's input. If we're going to do this, do it right.
It's also summer.
Yeah, it's all exactly. So I'd say September.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that. I would say that, do we want a date that we're going to have to, again, if we do this again, and I want to give Britt plenty of time, because she could get a lot of input. Is there a date that we want to, do you want to say we get everything to her by September 1st, and then we have it on for the 15th agenda?
We can shoot for that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that works.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion that we table this to the September 15th agenda, and I'm not sure what the process looks like.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Can I just make a point before we vote on this?
Yeah.
I just want to thank the staff for making the effort to standardize at these policies. It's a lot of, frankly, not terribly interesting work, and it's kind of drudge work, but it really makes a difference. I think they're going to be much easier to follow, and to find what we're looking for in each of these policies. So I really appreciate them taking the initiative to do this extra work, and I think it's going to serve us well going forward. That sort of goes across all the policies, not just this
Very, very good words. So if we table, a question, would you send those out to who would send those out, or Britt? So if we table that to the 18th, I'd like to make, let's start with that. I'd like to make a motion that we table it to the 18th. All in favor? All right, beautiful.
Was there a second on that?
Wait, did you say 18th of August, or
No, September.
18th?
September 18th. Yeah, September 18th.
Right, now, I'd be a second if that was.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, I don't think we need a second. I think we opened it with that. I think we're good. And then, Britt, would you be able to, at some point, maybe just send this packet of material to each chair?
I don't think they need the whole packet. They
No,
need
just
their
I'm
section.
just saying the section. Well, you just email the. Yeah, I mean, it's already together, it's like a PDF. You could just email the PDF and just say, could you take a look?
Actually, don't mail the PDF that we got because it's a little bit fuzzy on this second part.
Oh, yes,
That we could not read.
I meant to say that, and I apologize, I wanted to get to you. If you look through it and you start getting out, I think,
Just page
pages
one.
like 18 on,
78.
it looked like the fonts got a little funky, for lack of a better word.
Page 78. of
Oh, was
the
it?
packet.
Well, that was the unmarked up, or the old version or something?
No, I'm gonna pull it
Read
up.
the words.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull mine up, hold on.
Yeah, there was definitely corruption in
Yeah.
the document.
Let me see, I'm gonna double check if I get the right pages I'm telling you.
And just also remember to put in page numbers.
Yeah, so it was starting with 18, it just looked like the font got a little funky. And then some of the words started, thought it looked like French.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
So if we
the
could just
old,
do that,
that,
just have-
It's the old one.
it's the old one,
version.
the
Yeah.
one that starts on page 78.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then I would just say, do we give I know we should have probably said it before, do we give a date that we would want the,
9/1.
all right, 9/1, okay. So if we could just say, get your changes back by 9/1?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or they can come to the meeting and give their input.
Yeah, absolutely, that would even be better. All right, perfect. Okay, so we're good with that. The next item up is the Order 2627-5, Charter Commission Formation and Charter Revision Process. Motion be ordered that the Gray Town Council directs staff to take the necessary steps to initiate the Charter Commission formation process in accordance with Maine law. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open the floor for public discussion on this motion. If anybody would like to come up and speak.
I think I have more of a question. Do you have some specific items that you did want to open up? And would they be major or minor changes? So I'm not quite sure what this agenda item is basically all about. It's hard to ask the question when I'm not sure what the intent is. If there's something specific that you want to open the charter for that the public needs to vote on, that we're changing or adding, then that's one thing. And if it's something that needs just a revision, like, council rules and, enhancing the council rules section of the charter, then, that's something different. I'm not sure that needs a charter change. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm just asking the questions.
So just for a point of clarification, the only reason we would have to have a charter commission is to do something major that we could not do amongst us,
Which is a revision.
which is a revision, yes.
And that's all.
Yeah.
Well, this
Well,
one's looking for.
who is it that wanted this on the agenda? I mean, and there's ought to be some council member who suggested this, right? I mean, and kind of what, I mean, to Fran's point, what is?
I think, well, yeah, we'll have our discussion once the.
Okay.
No, absolutely, no, good point. Anyone online, Kyle? Oh, no, please come up, Lisa, sorry.
Lisa Gilmore, Portland Road. I kind of have the same question that Fran does. I know that you're all about saving money, and this is, when I'm looking at the process and how it has to go through, this looks like it's going to cost a lot of money. And then put on top of it, part of the money is going to be the attorneys that have to go through it. So I'm wondering the same thing. What is it that you're looking that needs to be revised, is my question. Justify why we're going to go through this process. It's a pretty
Thank you.
serious process.
Would anyone else like to come up and speak? Kyle, do we have anyone online?
There was only one person online and their hand is not raised.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to close public comment at this time, and then I'm just going to open the floor for the council for discussion on the motion. And I think I'll give you an example of one that we were looking at, and that was we had a contract with a prior town manager that was written, and when we went to look at a way to possibly separate with that individual, we found out that that contract was no good, because even though we had a contract, that parts of that contract would be overridden by the town charter. So basically, those three sections are okay in the, those three sections would be okay in the contract, but the fourth section wasn't because the town charter overrode it. So basically what we're trying to do is reassess it. Hasn't been done in quite some time to basically maybe tighten up things and put things that would be a little bit more amicable as far as making sure that we can do the things that we need to do. And I don't think that as a whole, our changes would be drastic, but they do require to go through that format. And again, what happens is, my understanding is we would go forward with that. People would put their name in to run that for that position, and in the November ballot, whoever wants to run to be on that, they would run, and we would probably have 5 to 7 people, depending how many we choose. And then basically, we would have requests that we would like them to look at, but ultimately, they would decide what changes that they would like to make. And then coming the following June, that would be voted on by the voters. Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to call Brett up here. When I was chair last year, Brett came to me and had a significant amount of changes that, you don't have to go over them all, but I think you had spoken to me about this the most, that we needed to do this, and I think it would be great if you could speak to it.
Clarifying there was certainly several just clerical errors that would need to go through. And we did just receive a lengthy list from our codification process about questions regarding our charter. I can pull that up. But really, this came before council on tonight's agenda because conversations regarding charter amendments, charter revisions have been bounced around quite a bit this last year. So we figured best to put it all out there at once, especially since this will be a very large election, which would be the best time for any sort of charter commission to be formed. Sorry, let me pull up the list.
Britt, may I ask a question?
Yep.
Can I ask a question? My question is what are the changes you're looking for? He just mentioned one about the town council, not the town council, but the town manager. What are the major issues? Because I don't want to do this for clerical stuff. What is the major things we're changing?
No, so I have no personal requests for any changes. Conversations regarding changes to the charter have been circulating for well over a year now.
Well, what are they?
So they've been conversations between the council leadership. I don't have the specific questions. The conversations have been amongst council. I've been referred to for what would the process be for a charter revision or a charter amendment.
It's not just clarification. There's also quite a few things. If I remember, Britt, you told me that they're not even correct anymore, right? Legally written, that we would have to change if we did this.
Let me pull it up. Sorry, I wasn't anticipating reviewing these.
That's all right. Take your time.
While she's doing that, Vinny, my question is, you mentioned that a contract was not written in a way that our charter overrode. So why wouldn't we know when we're okaying a contract whether or not our charter agrees with the contract? I'm just asking that question.
Obviously, I wasn't on the council at that time.
So I think we should table this for now. I don't think it's a conversation to have in public.
Yeah.
Okay. Just trust me. This is an ongoing legal matter, so let's table that conversation. Thank you.
Sorry, it's not pulling up my list.
Sorry, take your time, Brett. It's like, what we can do is, maybe each of you could take a look at the charter, go through, take a read. And then we can table, I guess my question for Britt, I guess the bigger one's going to be, if we decide we want to do this, I know there's some deadlines and they're
Yeah,
tight.
so that was the reasoning for putting it onto this agenda when we discussed it in our meeting. Should the council want more time to consider it, presenting it now will give you time to table. But to meet statutory deadlines, you will certainly want to consider September.
Okay.
The first meeting in September by making your decision. So not trying to put any pressure on anybody, but if you want to meet your deadlines and make sure that you are giving people ample time to file their papers and give us time for legal review on those petitions, by then would be very helpful.
So are you saying that in September, we have to have what in order to decide? Or we have to have a committee put together by December?
No, so the council does not put together a committee for the commission. The council just
Right.
needs to decide on an order. So,
We to get aside, do we want to move forward with
Okay,
having
with
that
September
committee?
1st, whether
You know,
we're gonna
and we
move
can give
forward or
So
not.
we would give our
Okay,
suggestions,
that's
you know,
fine.
we're going to give suggestions to that committee on things that we would like to have done, but ultimately, we're hands off. They do all the work, but there is a lot of things that it seems like, kind of like our audits, that might, again, things get neglected a little bit, and I think there's some things that we should probably look at, maybe tightening up and making sure that they're accurate, because I think that's part of the problem that got us into other situations where we weren't, you know, where we needed to be, and, you know, sometimes you gotta do the cleanup.
So it's the charter, not so much the contract we had that was wrong?
No,
It was
no,
the
it's
charter
the
that
charter, we
was
want to
wrong.
address it,
Okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
let's
we
do
want to
that.
address the charter.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Ann?
You know, I think it's true that the charter hasn't been opened in a long time, so there probably are changes that need to be, or that could be discussed. Excuse me. I think that it would be helpful to get a broad guesstimate as to the legal costs involved in opening up the charter. And I mean, some of the recommendations in the material that we were given, which, by the way, I mean, it was a lot of material, but I really found it helpful to, as sort of broad background for this whole question, because it is a big question. And, you know, it suggested that you have legal counsel sit in on the meetings to advise, so council member, I mean, so charter commission members don't go barking down the wrong path. But so I mean, I'm sort of open to the idea. I would like to get a better sense of what the kind of issues are that people think are critical, and you know, that would suggest that it's imperative that we do this now.
one of the largest questions that came up regarding our charter is town meeting should the budget fail. That's been one that's a consistent.
I'll get behind that.
So that's a consistent question / feedback I get about the charter. So,
Right. I
if
think
that's
another-
something we want to abolish.
Right, thank you, and thank you for that. And then another one I'd heard, I guess I remember, was the charter currently says that the town manager has to live in Gray unless the council gives them permission not to. You know, I'm on record, I think, as saying I think we'd be foolhardy to require a town manager to live in the town, because I think it would shrink an already small pool of candidates to near zero. And so I just, if we're opening it for that alone, I would say absolutely not. I wouldn't support that. But of course, as Vinnie correctly states, you know, it's the council can suggest things, but it's up to the charter commission to make those decisions as to what to recommend.
Okay.
So do you want to maybe say, take a look at it and let's,
We have statutory deadlines, so we need to move on.
yeah, but I would say,
I would say move on it tonight, I don't need.
I'm okay voting on it.
I'm okay to vote on
I
it.
think we need to do it. I think there's more than enough
Yeah.
in there that needs to be changed.
I do too.
all right, let's put it to a vote. Just looking at this, all right, so let's put it to a vote. So how about this, all in favor? I guess we'll do it. I'll take a look at it. All right, beautiful. 5 yeas. I would, and again, although we can't, they're going to do their own work once this process goes. I think putting forward your thoughts, like Ann had some good thoughts on what she just said about the person as town manager doesn't have to live in town. I think that would be good to put forth in addition to giving them some guidance. And come on up here, Britt. I know you got something to say.
So once a charter commission is established, they will have to hold public hearings. It
Yeah.
will be required by law.
Perfect.
So as they hold these public hearings, you as citizens of the town of Gray can
Can
voice
come
your
up.
opinions then.
All right, beautiful. So you can't have, because obviously we've given.
Council and commission will need, once a commission is formed, council and commission need to stay separate.
Okay, but before they're formed, which they're not formed now.
Correct.
It-
Because
can-
they will need to be elected.
Would we send things to Lauren or we send things to you if we had thoughts that you want to, I mean, is
You can
that?
certainly send them to Lauren.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. All right, great, thank you.
When would the commission be appointed?
So what happens is, my understanding is correctly, is basically it'd be like running for office, it'd be like running for town council for this thing. You would run for it and your names would be on the ballot, and if we decide we're gonna have 5 or 7, whoever gets the most vote out of those 5 or 7s, that would be the group.
Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so, all right, beautiful. All right,
Do
great.
I'm sorry, point of order, point of information, sorry. Do we need to establish the size of the commission as part of this, our order?
I think it's in here.
No, it says 5 to 7, you're right.
says 5
That's
to
probably
7.
that's a good question, Britt. It's 5 or 7, that's a very fair question.
I
Ann.
mean, I personally, I would go for 7 because I feel like we saw with the transfer station committee that there was some attrition along the way.
Yep, okay. Mike, your thoughts?
Yes, I think more is better, more input, absolutely.
Pam?
I'm fine with either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jim?
I go with 7.
All right. I'd say I'd like to make a motion. Let's see if we can get our number of people on the committee to 7. All in favor?
Is that a
That's,
motion?
I don't know
Well,
if
I'm
that's how it would.
Yeah, it's procedurally.
Procedural. How do we do it? So what do we say?
I mean, do we
Amend
need
the
to?
last.
We want to. All right. So we need to amend the last one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I think we,
I'd just like to make a motion to amend
Go ahead.
Order 2627-5 to allow the number of participants to be 7. Is that what we would do?
Has
Yeah.
to be 7. We want it to be 7.
That has to be 7,
Yeah.
yes.
So it has to be 7.
So
Yeah.
that's the motion, do I have a second?
Yeah. I'll take a second it. All right. All in favor? All right.
thank you.
No, that's good. It has to be 7. I think that's good. Thank you, Mike. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, the next one up is resolve, one reading required, resolve 27-4, council appointment to the union bargaining team. Motion is be resolved that the Gray Town Council appoints a town council representative on the union bargaining team. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Ann, Mike? All right, beautiful. At this time, I'm going to open the floor for public discussion on the motion, if anybody would like to come up and speak. Is there anyone on the line, Kyle, with a question?
No one who has raised their hand.
All All right, beautiful. At this time, I'm going to close public comment, and I'm going to open the floor for council discussion on the motion.
Can I make a nomination?
Who made the first motion? I forget. Ann or Mike? You? All right, go ahead. I'll let you start. I'm going to try to do that. Whoever makes the first motion should go first. Second motion goes second, and then therefore they're on.
I mean, I don't have any particular comment on this. You know, obviously it's something that needs to happen. We need to vote on it.
So the person would have to, this is, if I understand correctly, the meetings are typically during the day?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just want to make sure. Anyone of interest that would like
I
to?
would like to nominate somebody.
I guess you can then. Go ahead.
I am not for the union, so but I know that somebody has to be appointed to the union. Whoops, sorry. I said, I'm not in favor of the union. I don't think it's good for a town. There's not very many towns in the state of Maine that have a union, and it's costly for the taxpayers. It's costly for the town. It causes a lot of legal fees and a lot of other problems, but I'm not a big fan of it. But if it's something we have to do, we have to do it. So I do nominate Pam Ensign to be on the committee for the union.
Yeah, I'll second that. Any other nominations? Anybody else?
I served on the school district's, you know, I served on the school board. I was a school board representative to the bargaining teams, or, you know, bargaining efforts, so I would be willing to, that was some time ago and different group of people, of course, but I'd be willing to serve in that capacity.
Question for you, Brett. Is it just a primary, or do they have a primary and a secondary? As far as just two or one, I can't see. All right, my contacts in.
Actually, could we appoint an alternate?
We should, because we
I
had to,
think
we had
so.
to do that last time anyways. I had to step in quite a bit.
Okay.
when- Not quite a bit, but I did have to step in.
I think it would be prudent.
All right.
I would like Betty to be
Nomination. Do whatever you want.
I would nominate Vince Palanch to be the second. Second?
Do we have to move on the first one first?
I think we do, yeah. All right, let's do that. All right, so why don't we just start with that? All in favor of Pam being the, I'm going to go through here, being the town or our council appointed person for the union bargaining team. All in favor? All right, so we got all opposed? Mike, either way?
I voted for Pam.
Okay, so, all right, so we have 4 yeas and 1 nay, so Pam, you are the contact? And then if we want to do an alternate?
motion.
Do you want, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion to have a second or a backup?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that the Great Town Council adds an alternate person to step in if needed for the union bargaining.
Did you get it?
And I would nominate Vinnie.
Yes, yeah.
Give me a second.
And I second.
All right. All right, all in favor? I'll vote for myself. Okay, so it's 4-1 again?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. Okay, next up is Resolve 2627-5, appointment to the EcoMaine Board of Directors. The motions be resolved that the Gray Town Council appoints John Powers, Director of the Solid Waste and Recycling, as the Town of Gray's representative to the EcoMaine Board of Directors for the prescribed term. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, Ann, second?
Second.
Pam? Okay, beautiful. Open the floor for any public discussion on the motion. Okay, anybody online, Kyle?
Oh, nope.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm going to close public discussion. And is there any discussion here amongst the counselors?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, beautiful. All right,
I agree.
all right, beautiful. Let's take a vote. All in favor? All opposed? We're going to do 4 in favor and Mike is absent right now. All right, great, thank you. Okay, the next up is going to be the resolve number 2627-6, which is the Finance Committee appointment. Motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby appoints Susan Fuller to the Finance Committee for the balance of the unexpired term ending August 31st, 2028. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, beautiful. I'm going to open the floor for public discussion on the motion if anybody would like to come up and speak. Okay, Kyle, anybody online?
Nope.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Kyle. We're going to close the public discussion, and we're going to open the floor for council discussion on the motion. Whoever made the first motion was...
Rainey.
Goes first.
I just want to say I'm very excited for Sue Fuller to become on the Finance Committee. I think it's going to really pull that committee together like it's never been before. I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be a great year for the Finance Committee, and I'm pretty excited about that, so. Yep.
Okay.
I'm just going to add that all of her financial experience coming from the school system, from Cumberland, I just think it's a real plus. It's nice to have people that are, on these boards and committees that, that is their passion and that's what their expertise are. And that's, I think it's fabulous.
Yep.
All right, Council Scotts?
No comment.
Okay, Councilor Johnson's absent, and I appreciate your willing to serve, so thank you. So at this time, let's take a vote. So all in favor? All opposed? So we have 3 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 absent. Next would be resolved 2627-7, Zoning Board of Appeals appointment. Motion be resolved that the Gray Town Council hereby appoints an individual to the Zoning Board of Appeals for the balance of the unexpired term ending August 31st, 2027. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
All right, I'll say Ann first, and I'm going to say
Honey
Judy second. Beautiful. I'm going to open the floor for public discussion on the motion, if anybody would like to come up and speak. Okay. Yep. Thank you. No, thank you.
Is the candidate's name on the motion?
There
There are 2
are
candidates.
2 candidates, and it's,
Devin
in my poor eyesight, Devin,
Harrington
yeah,
and Scott.
Devin Harrington and Scott Liberty.
Brad Fogg, 127 Shaker Road. I think this is a big step forward for volunteerism in the town of Gray, to have
Yes.
2 people step up to this board. I think it's a good thing that the candidates have some experience. Scott previously, I believe, was on the planning board, and the other gentleman, I believe, is a professor, a per diem professor at the Maine College of Art. What this does, it gives the zoning board the opportunity to have local knowledge as well as some creativity, which we often need in resolving conflicts between the ordinance itself and what the applicant is trying to do. And one of our primary jobs is to mediate a resolution that will be in the best interest of both parties, the town as well as the neighbors and the applicants. So I think this is a big step forward, and it will be nice to have, and I think the 9 or 10 years I've been there, a full board, as well as an alternate, guaranteeing, if you will, the applicants a broad base for decision-making that we haven't had in quite a while. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Would anybody else like to come up to speak?
I think we all suffer from some backaches, Scott Liberty. I applied because I saw Brad had put a call out that the Zoning Board of Appeals needed someone. I served on the Gray Planning Board. I served on the New Gloucester Planning Board when I moved to New Gloucester for a short period. And I'm back in Gray, and I'd like to serve the community, and I think I bring a lot to the table with the knowledge of the town and my past experience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to come up to speak? Kyle, was there anyone online?
There is not.
All right, beautiful, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to close the public discussion on the motion, and I'm going to open it up to public discussion, or discussion amongst the councilors.
I made the motion initially. I mean, I personally, I always like to see some new faces, and Devin Harrington, I don't think has been terribly active in the town previously. He seems to bring a lot of enthusiasm for it, and has a lot of, big variety of other volunteer experience, and seems like he has some energy to bring. So I'd like to see him be appointed.
Okay, Judy?
I wasn't sure that Devin had any skills for that. I know that he's an arts professor or whatever, but I didn't see how that was gonna benefit the. Oh, sorry. I didn't see how his art professor degree was gonna help in that committee. So I'd really like to get to a committee that's gonna have somebody come up that's actually gonna be like with experience, like with Sue Fuller. She's got so much experience with it. And I know Brad's going to come up here and he's going to say something else, but I think public comments.
Unfortunately, yeah, I hate to say this, and I do not mean to. Thank you. That the public. I'm sorry. Thank you.
And for someone to say they're very enthusiastic, I haven't met Devin. He didn't even come in tonight. So I have hesitations when somebody wants to be on a committee and they don't even show up and show their enthusiasm. And I see that Scott did come, and I think I think that does say a lot for somebody that actually comes in here and goes, yeah, I want to be on the committee and this is why, and does that. I think if somebody wants to be on the committee, it's not required that they come to this, but it does show a lot to me. So I guess I'm hesitant until I maybe hear from others that feel that this person would be good for it. As far as Scott goes, yeah, I would say I'm okay with that.
Council Gass?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it isn't a requirement that people show up in person at this meeting. And does the Zoning Board of Appeals meet on Tuesday nights?
No.
No, so, I mean, who knows? Maybe he has to work Tuesday nights. I mean, then can't be here. I just, that cannot be used against him. So I guess I just wanted to make that point. It's been brought up previously, and I think it's ridiculous. Until we tell people they need to be here in order to be considered, that cannot be a factor.
Council Edson?
Well, it doesn't have to be a requirement, but it does speak volumes. And I just want to say that I am fine with Scotty being on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I would like to nominate Devin to be an alternate. I think I used to work in the code office as an assistant.
Hold on.
Point of information.
Please. No, thank you.
Our current boards and committee affiliation policy does not allow the Zoning Board of Appeals to have any alternates. So the only thing you can currently vote on at this moment is to appoint a regular member. It does not allow for an alternate position on the ZBA.
Great. Thank you.
I just read that I just read somewhere too.
So that was the proposed amended policy included 2 alternates, but our current policy, which is the one that's in full effect by our previous town council's last amendment, does not allow for alternates on the ZBA.
Micah, I mean, I don't know Devin. I like his background in education. I think that's great. But I know Scott's been on other boards, and to me, zoning board's a big one. And I would like to have somebody in that particular position with the most experience possible. So, based on that, and having experience with the town and working and I've already been involved with the town. I think at this type of position, I would sway towards Scott. So, and I know Mike's absent right now, so I guess at this point, why don't we just make a motion? I'd like to say all in favor of Scott Liberty to be the Zoning Board of Appeals to serve the unexpired term through August 31st, 2027. In favor of Scott Liberty? All opposed?
And technically, don't you have to make a motion and then have it seconded?
Do we? Let's see. Oh, yes. Sorry. Flipping like. Okay. Amend. Be resolved. The Gray Town Council hereby appoint Scott Liberty to the Zoning Board of Appeals for the balance of the term expiring August 31st, 2027. And then which is what I said. And then we just need to take a vote. So, all in favor?
Second.
Yep, a second.
You don't have to second it.
Okay.
All in favor? All opposed? So it's 3 yeas, 1 nay, and Mr. Johnson is not here right now. I would like to see if we could just take a quick 5-minute break, and maybe I can see if I can find Mr. Johnson.
He's gone.
Oh, he left?
I mean, he has his.
All right, okay,
he's
all
gone.
right, okay, so he's gone.
He said he was in too much pain to sit
Oh, all
here.
right, I did not know. I was focused on matters at hand. Okay. All right, so these next items that we're going to go over are referrals. So we're not voting on them tonight, so there's no public comment on these. And what I'd like to do is start with the first one and just give an overview. This is with regards to the sheriff's contract and ad hoc committee, and I'd like to let Councilor Gass enhance upon that.
Yeah, so there was an effort to collect signatures on a petition that would have been submitted to the council. It wasn't a formal petition, I understand, but just an effort to sort of like a declaration of sentiment, I guess, about the need for a better process for public involvement in the decision about whether or not to have additional sheriffs in the town. And so I have, I sort of created this formal referral asking that the council establish a process for, for an ad hoc committee to meet on this and make some recommendations to the council in the town about how this should go forward. Over 480 people signed that petition, and it was in a, those signatures were collected in a very short time frame. I think that, many more could have been collected. And I, honestly, I think one of the reasons why it wasn't put out as a separate agenda item is that they knew it would pass. That people did want the sheriffs, the extra deputies. So anyway, I think it's important that we have a process, committee, an ad hoc committee to look into this more. I'm certainly open to changing negotiating with the sheriff's department around changing the terms of the contract. I think we could have had a conversation with that. It had, had the sheriff's department been notified with enough time to act, that there were some concerns about the contract, which they were not. So anyway, that's my proposal.
Councilor Edson?
We're just speaking on it, right?
We're just, no voting, we're just having a conversation.
Well, no, there is a vote. I mean, I think.
Well, the vote would be, at the end, the vote would be, do we want to move forward with putting this on the
Right.
agenda for the next time? But right now, we're just, but we're not voting on, we're just
We're not
having
even
a
for the next
conversation.
time. The vote is whether or not to add it to our list.
a future,
of,
yes,
of
yes,
things to do.
a future agenda, yes.
Well, when I was running and when I was at the transfer station greeting people, this is one of their top concerns, was this whole thing with the Cumberland County Sheriffs. And, I think people have a few misconceptions about it. And, but I know that we need to do something. So I do think an ad hoc committee, I don't think that it's something we need to do right away because we're not budgeted for that now. It's not in the budget for this year. And, but I do think it is something that I definitely would like us to, form a committee and look into, for sure. I would also like to see, maybe some kind of interlocal, committee formed that maybe we could see if some of these surrounding communities that were getting service from the sheriffs that we did have, might be willing to, I understand we're the bigger municipality out of the 3 others that they mentioned, but it would be nice to maybe see if there would be some willingness to maybe help fund some of this. So maybe amongst all of the towns, we do have 3 sheriffs or so. That's my thoughts.
I also think that we do have to have an ad hoc committee for this. I think right now it's too premature, only because we do not have it in the budget for this year. The budget passed, so I do think it needs to be put on the table. But I don't think it's an immediate, because we can't do anything right now anyway. So, but I do think we do need to do something.
Okay. I would not disagree with anybody with regards to the formation at some point of an ad hoc committee. I do think at the election, the majority of the people spoke, and the reality is the budget passed. One concern that I did have with regards to this was that I know that the town, and I had received a couple of complaints with regards to the way it was done, in that people thought there's a process to go through if you have a petition as far as sorts with the town, and the process wasn't followed, so I think it was a little misleading saying that this was a petition, and it should have been turned in. I think it's 30 days after we made our decision, and that wasn't done as well. So I do think, and some of the comments I got was that it was a little misleading, because it wasn't, again, a valid petition, and basically it came around that the reality is this group just went out and got names, got emails, got addresses, got phone numbers, but it wasn't valid. I do think it's interesting that I had never seen the sheriff here in any meeting in the last year, and that the second the funds got cut, now I'm seeing him here, I'm seeing him at Dunkin' Donuts, they're everywhere. And so, you know, I have some concerns over that. I have some concerns with regards to having them being invited if we did committee meetings to be part of it. So I think what we need to do is we would really need to set some very strict criteria on what we want, some guidelines. I don't think having them involved, unless we ask for some data, is a good thing, because the reality is they're the group that's biting for the contract. If you heard the officers speak, they're building a station in Wyndham, so they'll be close to us. And to your point, Pam, I think that we could be working with other towns. I know it was doom and gloom, and I know, when July 1st came, we were gonna turn to inner-city Chicago. That has not happened. I don't believe that will happen. Do I think it would be nice to have some additional services in addition to having the school resource officer that we have here summer? When they go back to school, would it be nice? Yes. But that's gonna be a long-term plan, and I think we need to do a better job at it. When it was voted on last year, it was very misleading. The way they put the budget together said it would cost this much X for the service, and that was only 6 months, and the following year it was added on, so it actually got doubled. So I would just like to make sure that whatever we do is very clear and very concise and very, very honest. So I'm not opposed to putting this on our list of things to do at all.
Point of clarification.
Please, absolutely.
It was absolutely clear that it was, that the former town manager recommended that we kind of ease the pain of the funding requirement by starting the new position mid-year. It was publicly disclosed multiple times in meetings, and so there was no effort to hide that. I'm sorry if you didn't understand it when you looked at it. Sometimes those warrant articles are hard to understand. I know that, but I think I would dispute the sense that that this isn't urgent. I mean, the fact of the matter is, especially when you're talking about working with other towns, it's going to take some time. Mm-hmm. So this is something that should be started a lot sooner than later. And it's going to take a while to hammer out this kind of agreement. So I would like to see this on on our August agenda to just talk about how we might do this. And if the council doesn't want to do it, then the citizens can go through a process of setting up a committee on their own. And I also do want to point out, I believe I said this at the outset, but that it was never intended as an effort to, force a referendum on this question. People, when they signed the document, were told it wasn't an official, petition. It was simply, like I said, a declaration of sentiment.
Yeah.
I think it said it had petition on the top of that.
Well, petition is a broad word.
Whatever.
You know, I think when we talked about the town budget, you had made a comment that if they knew that the police, we weren't clear if we had a separate referendum or a separate thing on the police. And I think it, as you said, I think it's the same thing. When you read the ballot, even though we have these meetings, not everybody attends, when you read the ballot, I think people saw police, this is how much it cost last year, and not knowing it was doubled. And I know they should, but I think, as you know, we all don't do our homework. So that's part of it. I think this was more expensive than meets the eye. But the reality is, you're right, we should get on this. And I guess we could try to figure out, we're gonna have to figure out when we wanna set criteria and all that, and I'd like us to do that collectively. I think we should set the criteria for what we want. I mean, what would be your opinion on that?
I mean, I think it's a bit like the Charter Commission. I think in the sense that the people who are on the ad hoc committee might come up with ideas that I never thought of.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's appropriate for the council to say, these are the only things you can consider. I think that council could maybe come up with some parameters or something like that. But I think, you know, for example, if, once people get together and share ideas, I mean, that's the beauty of this kind of public involvement, right? I mean, and that's what, we saw that happen with the transfer station ad hoc committee. There were people on that committee who didn't, you know, who brought expertise that I don't have. And so I would expect the same would be true of this committee. So I think, but I do think we should, you know, set parameters in terms of like what the timeline should look like, whether or not other towns should be involved, you know, or like encouraging that or not encouraging that. You know, I don't know. I don't know that we can set parameters around costs. I think we just let them turn them loose and see what they come back with.
Okay. Thoughts?
I don't know, like the September agenda or something.
Yeah, all right. I would be willing to do that. Yes, unfortunately, we can't take any questions because it's, you can't even
Yes,
do.
you can do it.
You can do, all right, point of order, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
You can stay right there. Don't worry about it. I can hear you, Fran. I'm not gonna come up anyways, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the agenda, and all these things are referrals, so are you saying that all the referrals, none of this is, we're able to speak to any of these referrals tonight?
No,
The public?
no, that was at the public, you could have done that at the public comment at the beginning. That's your three, the referrals have been always on there. They're on there every time.
Okay. Well, you're going to be deprived of my speech.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I'll email it.
email it to us, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I honestly, too, didn't really understand these coming on here as a council member, these referrals, like what, I mean, so it's just really to talk about it and see if we want to put it on
So
the agenda?
basically, we would say, we would have a conversation like we're doing right now, and we'd
Okay.
talk about it, and then we decide right now, it basically, if we want to move forward, and to put it on the agenda. So say it was, I digress, say Ann said, I want to have pizza night, and nobody else wanted to have pizza night, nobody would move forward and it would die.
Well, that wouldn't happen.
That would, that would not. So I think this is one of the things that I think, obviously, you two, had made a commitment to doing the ad hoc committee, and I think that that's a good road to go down. So I think that's something that we would probably be in favor of. So we would just take a vote on that, but it's not, we're not voting to put anything in place, we're just voting to move forward and
Well,
Yeah,
I would
putting
be
on the
willing to
agenda.
vote to move
Yes.
forward
Yeah.
with this.
so I'd like to make so who would be in favor of moving forward with this? And you just
Well,
raise a hand right there.
Yeah.
So you've got 4 yeas and no nays with Mike absent. Do we need to put a date on that? No, yes or
It's
no?
just a future agenda.
Okay, it'll be a future agenda item, so, but it's
Yeah.
going to move forward.
Right.
All right, perfect. So, and I think that is, again, I think everybody here supports law enforcement, so I think that's,
I am pro-police.
we are pro-police, okay. So, and thank you for bringing that forward, Ann. Okay, so hold on. Okay. The next item, pull this up, please. 1 second. So the next item that we're going to chat about tonight is it's basically a code of conduct, and that would be primarily for, obviously, the town councils primarily, and I'm going to let, that was submitted by Councilor Gass, so I'm going to let Councilor Gass take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the school board and other towns and other council select boards in Maine apparently have codes of conduct. We haven't had one for the council here. I think it's a good idea. I think, you know, and especially in this last year, we saw a lot of kind of abuse happening on social media especially, but even in council meetings. And I think, you know, I think it behooves us as, you know, as elected officials to behave responsibly in our public meetings and in our speech, our public speech, whether it's verbally or online or in emails. And so anyway, I just think it's important to spend some time on this. And I think we can look at examples from other towns and the school board, and I think it's not a lengthy discussion, but it's one that we should work on this year.
Councilor Edson?
Yeah, no, I am not going to disagree that we certainly saw things that needed improvement this past year. So a code of conduct, I mean, are you talking about what's already in the?
I mean, there's some stuff that's in the council rules,
Right.
But I think a
Right.
code of, there's sort of code of ethics, code of conduct. So, you know, maybe it's more of a code of ethics that we need that's separate from the, you know, when I made the referral, I hadn't yet seen the revised council rules. So it may be that those are sufficient. I don't know enough about it myself, but I just think it's something we should work on.
Clerk, I believe one of the things you wanted to have the ability to do is that if the 5 of you, for example, or the 4 of you said, all right, I'm not doing my job, I'm doing something way out of line, that's not right, that you would have the ability to say, all right, the chair needs to step down, or you can remove the chair.
I think that was going to be in the rules.
Yep,
That was a
okay.
recommendation I
Yep.
made for the rules.
And you know, and I'll clarify more of that, but I'm okay with that, but go.
Okay, so I did read that. So you're thinking that it would take all four
All 4
councilors to
councilors.
remove a chair just from his chairmanship?
Yeah, you can't remove, none of us can remove anybody from the council unless we
Okay.
voluntarily
Yes,
resign.
well, that's what I wanted to
But
make
you could remove, so I think it would be fair to do that for the chair or the vice chair.
Yeah, again, I think that's covered in the council rules. That was a recommendation I made at the last meeting.
Yeah, so that would be
specifically
some-
around the council rules.
But we haven't
And this is
adopted that
different though, because we're talking about a code of conduct. This is a code of conduct, or, you know, a code of ethics, you know, is a separate document that just sort of speaks to public behavior, you know, behavior of public officials, whether, you know. So
But I believe that's in the.
It is in the council
It's in the
rules.
council
there's some
rules.
stuff that's in the council
Yeah.
rules. I'm not sure that
So
it's
would you,
sufficient.
I mean, is your thought just to kind of amend that?
I mean, I guess I could consider that. I mean, it seems like other towns and like the school district has a separate document that's called a code of ethics or code of conduct. So I think it's just behooves us to look into this a little bit more. And since I made the referral, I'm happy to make that effort.
All right, yeah, so I think we already have it. You know, we had a rough year this year. I mean, we came as the public before the council many occasions and said, you're out of compliance with the Roberts rules, and you're out of compliance with ethics and codes and all this stuff, and you never implemented any of the things that were already in print. So, I mean, there's already stuff in here. So I don't know, I looked for what your recommendations was, and you didn't even have any, and we already have more of a code of ethics in here. So I don't know what your addition was going to be, I guess.
Well, we don't have a code of ethics. We don't have a code of conduct. We have some proposed changes to the council rules, which were tabled tonight. So we don't even have those. So I think it's important to spend some time thinking about this and making sure that we have language that will cover the kind of behavior that we saw in this last year, both, again, in meetings and online.
Well, I
especially.
just want to say that there were instances that we as the public brought forward these instances and said that these were out of compliance and nothing was done. So we have them in place, Ian, that's what I'm trying to tell you. We did, but nobody implemented them. So I don't know if there's additional codes of ethics that you need, but there were things in place already that should have made the position of the chair be silenced or whatever it was, censured. Yeah, so I would be interested to see what your code of ethics or your code of conduct is going to be different than what it already is. So I'm open to it, but I would like to implement those if they're going to be put on there and not just have it on print.
So I guess the bottom line is, we don't know what the wording of the verbiage or it's actually going to be, but I think we're all in favor of pursuing it.
Okay.
Would that be fair?
Yeah, and I will take responsibility for finding a bunch of examples and sending them to you and summarizing what I see as the value of adopting something like this in Gray.
Perfect. All right, so then all in favor of moving forward with this?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next item up is going to be basically, is going to be with regards to the repayment of the money we used to replenish some of the funds we had depleted last year. And so I'm going to let Ann take that over with regards to the land acquisition fund.
Yeah, I mean, we borrowed $260,000 from the Land Acquisition Fund, which is a fund that voters approved to acquire land for conservation purposes and for economic development. And this was done at the very last meeting before the budget, or when the budget was finalized. And as I pointed out at the time, this, that council couldn't obligate like this council or future councils to do anything, to require repayment of these funds. So I really want a plan for how we're gonna replenish these funds, because those funds are now unavailable to the town for any kind of, for their intended purpose until they're repaid. And so I just wanna make sure that we don't forget about this, and that we come up with a plan for, in our FY28 budget, for how we're going to replenish those funds.
Well, I do understand that your angst in this $260,000 coming from the land acquisition fund. But the voters also back in 2018 voted to spend $660,000 on a fire pumper truck that never got bought, but 55 little things did get bought, which we are paying interest on until 2039. And then you fast forward until a year ago, March, and we bought the fire truck for $1.25 million, and no one is asking, where did that $1 million? We know where the 0.25, probably we can say, oh, it went toward this. But this isn't the only money that's lacking because of actually just being accountable, I guess. So, I mean, anybody could ask, where are we getting the other $1 million that we just spent for the fire truck that we just did purchase in full?
Councilor Semino?
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the same thought here. I'm not interested in putting the 260 back in the land acquisition fund when we're out $1.2 million on a fire truck. It's kind of like, how much is in the balance of the land acquisition fund right now, Ian? Do you know how much it is? Because I think it's pretty substantial still.
I think it's around 400 grand.
Still 400 grand.
350, 400, something like that.
Okay, so I mean, I don't think that we should replenish that because, this was done under your watch, that the fire truck got bought in error. So it's kind of like, well, you know what? There was a mess made here and it's got to be cleaned up by something. So I don't know where you think we're just going to like pull money out of the hat here and say, oh, let's just put the money back in here. I think next year is going to be a harder year on the budget because of all the other things that have come up, that we're going to be needing. So I don't know. I don't have a plan in place to think about how to replenish that money.
Well, there were promises made at that meeting that we would, for sure, Vinny made some promises about he would for sure, make a commitment to replenishing these funds. I mean, I think had, it seems to me that, if circumstances were different and it was, something that you supported, and you'd be having a fit, that the voters approved on multiple occasions putting money into this fund, and yet, with just sort of summarily, the council decides in one meeting with no public comment or involvement whatsoever that, whoops, we're going to take 260 out of this, and the voters will never see that money again for their intended purpose. And I think that's wrong.
Well, the 1.2 million, just got no voter on that. Nobody voted on the 1.2 million.
Well, in fact, they
So-
did, actually, I think.
No, they didn't.
They only
No,
voted
they
on
didn't. In
500,000
2018,
of it.
yeah, in 2018, they voted for it, and the money has since been gone since then. So the $1.2 million fire truck never got voted on. So it's kind of like, wow, I don't know how we're gonna come to replace this. We're not in the real estate business. And I understand that we need money to buy land, to do things, but I don't think we're in harm's way here by having 400,000 for that. So
Well,
that's
with
where
the
I
cost
stand.
of land these days, I think that 400 grand could be eaten up in an instant, in one purchase. Depending on what property we're talking about. It could be a property here in the village that we think is important for economic development, or it could be, something that protects, a watershed, an important watershed in Gray. And I just think it's wrong to do it this way.
Well, then you can come before something and get, maybe a warrant article or something for that, or something, a new warrant article. I don't really know. But I'm not gonna say, we're gonna pay the 260,000 back to the land acquisition fund, because I don't know where we would get the money if we're gonna, how we're
Well,
gonna
that
put it
was
in the
my
budget.
point at that meeting. It's like I didn't believe that you were ever going to repay it, and these promises were made.
I didn't make a promise.
Well, and I didn't
So-
make a promise either. Did you promise?
I would like to see us, when we can, and even if it's piece by piece, give something back based on what our budgets are. It's very premature to say where we are right now, but if we're in a position next year, for example, I know we wanted to put, we want to put 100,000 every year away for assessing. Maybe we take a part of that and go and work it. I mean, there's different things, and I think it's just premature to do it, but I would like to see us, if we can, and I did tell that to Ann, if we can over time, put that money back or work towards that. The one thing I am dead set against, and I mean dead set against, is borrowing money. If we had to take out that $260,000 and borrowed it over 5 years at 8%, even if we paid back 20% a year of it, you're looking at over $60,000 in extra money, and I am not for that. Unfortunately, a prior council passed something and they didn't follow through on it, and that's on the council, that's on us. We passed a budget this year, and part of our responsibility should be making sure that what we spend money on is actually getting spent on that and not something else. And I don't believe this group will do that. I think, we see past lessons, but, shame on everybody. When you assume something's done, you need to do more than assume, you need to follow up. So, I'm gonna say, hey, Lauren, we gave money for this, where are we on this project? And I know she'll follow up with us. So I think that's part of the problem that we got into. And we had taken money from accounts that we shouldn't, because the money in those accounts were already being allocated for something, so they were short. So that's when we came up with that problem last year. So I am for working overtime to try to get some of that money back over time and work towards that. I don't know what the future is next year, but as it comes up, we will look at it. If we can do something, we will do something.
I'll just point out that 80% of the voters voted in favor of the 2020 comprehensive plan, and at a major election, and a big component of that comp plan was protecting open space in Gray, and it's there's a lot of people, if you ask, will say we want to protect Gray's rural character. And 2020 was, yes, a number of years ago, but since then we've had a global pandemic. Both of the land trusts that work in Gray have had leadership changes that took a couple years to kind of resolve. No one is saying that the town has to be in the real estate business. There are different ways to preserve land or to conserve land that, including, the land trusts owning easements or owning the land outright or however it might be, or purchase of development rights. There's different things you can do. And I think, we need funding in order to do it.
I do think if you're a resident or a longtime resident of this town and you have something that you want to sell, that at least I would be willing to work with the town. If I know we didn't have the money right now, and maybe something comes up, like Ann said, maybe something is $500,000, we only have $400,000. I'm sure that landowners say, well, we can't do it to the end of the year. If they're a resident and they really care about open space and those things, that they would work with us, and then if we have to go out and get some money, we would. So I don't know when the last time we've purchased land is, but I guess we don't know, but you never know when the next one's, but you never know when the next one's gonna be. So,
Right.
I mean, I get where you're coming from and things don't get cheaper. And I'm hoping things get better and we get more tax income and we can put this back, sooner or later, but it's just too premature in the year to say. So I guess at this time, I just say, all in favor of moving forward with this, raise your hand.
So, point of clarification,
Sure.
too, you're basically saying that you're not willing to commit to working in the FY28 budget to restore any part of this.
I'm not saying that. I absolutely am not saying that. What I'm saying is, no, I'm saying is, as we do our budget and as we work, start in December, start early, let's see where we are. So no, I would, what I'm saying is I would like to do something, but it's just too premature. It's just too premature, but I would like to do something, is what I'm saying. I definitely would like to do something, but I think we just need to see where things are. We've got a lot of things going on, and just kind of once things start coming together as she does the budget, we'll have a better idea of what's real. But no, I would like to do something. I'm just saying right now, it's just too premature.
I don't want to do anything right now.
Nope. So I guess I would say all in favor of moving forward with this? All opposed? Okay. So, for now, that's tabled. So, so the next item up is with regards to rebranding cost. And that was submitted by Judy Simino, so I'm gonna let Judy talk about that.
Yeah, so I wanted to put this back on here because I have been looking at the warrants through the finance department and seeing how much money has been spent on rebranding. And I think it's a total waste of taxpayer dollars. I think it's unnecessary. And I think taxpayers would agree that that money could be better spent on other things more valuable. I mean, I have seen $1,000 for tablecloths with new branding on them. I've seen mugs. I've seen all kinds of things, thousands of dollars already on new branding. And I don't think that taxpayers would be very appreciative of that, where that money is going. I don't think the new brand is necessary. I think the rebranding for economic development was totally a waste of money, and I can't get that back. But I think moving forward that we should not be spending taxpayer money on a new brand that was not necessary. So I think it's going to cost taxpayers a lot more money if we continue on that track, and so I want to put a stop to it immediately and stop the extra spending on things we do not need. So that's why I put this on the table.
Councilor Hudson?
Ditto.
Councilor Gass?
I have some points of clarification, I guess. The source of funding for this is the TIF money, right? Am I correct on that, Kyle?
Could you say that again? I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering,
yes.
the source of money for the rebranding initiative is TIF money, right?
That is correct.
Right, so it's not coming directly from taxpayers. And the bulk of the money is spent already? Is that right, Kyle?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
cost of the branding has been spent, but the cost of the new products that we're buying all the time is new costing money. And so it's a new additional cost to purchase these things that are unnecessary to change the brand on them.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Just as a point of clarification for everyone. So nothing is being purchased only because we have new branding. The things that we've purchased, such as mugs or tablecloths, we would have had to get those anyway, and because we now have the new brand, that's what's on these items.
I kind of disagree. I don't think we needed new tablecloths for the voting things that cost us like $600 or something. I mean, I think this is just needless spending, and I'm asking that please let we stop this additional spending. It's, even if it's coming from TIF money, it's still taxpayer dollars.
It is still taxpayer money.
So I'm asking that we please stop the spending on the new branding.
Honestly, I mean, can anybody seriously say that the new branding is like amazing? I mean, it's like a monochromatic, it's like, my grandson could have come up with that for a lot cheaper. I mean, he made my political signs. And I'm just saying, it is a disappointment. It was a $13,000 disappointment.
I guess I'd like to see, I do understand what Kyle's saying, because if we have to replace stuff, but at the same time, I do understand if we've already got a cloth with that, we should be using that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change that.
I know. I guess what I'd like to say is maybe if we could move it forward, so we could just take a greater look and see what those, I want to see what, I'd like to actually see what the costs are. You know, the reality is, at least for me, I would have, if we were going to do this, I would have ever done it after we did the transformation project and then relaunched everything with the transformation project. Because I don't think anybody's going to move to a town of gray because we changed our logo, personally.
True.
But and you know, and the reality is it is TIF money, but TIF money is money. TIF money is money that we can use for other things. You know, we're going through our zoning things. We could use money. It is money we could use for other things. So it's not monopoly money. It's real cash. So I guess I would just like to say, if we could, maybe we could just kind of get some more clarification on it.
Like what?
How much are we spending? What are the upcoming, like, how much are we spending? What are the upcoming costs that we will be occurring? Things like that. Like, what else? Like if,
Well, we had $1,000 in 1 month.
but I'm just saying,
Stuff
what I'm
that we
saying
didn't
is,
need to
what
purchase.
I'm saying is, are there other things that we're going to need to buy? We're going to need to buy more tablecloths. So I want to kind of see, or do we already just take the hit?
Take the hit. I don't
I don't
even
want
like
to throw
it.
money over bad money. You know,
So
I mean,
basically what we need to do is just say, if we want to talk about it more, we'll say, yes, we want to talk about it more, then we'll put it on. And then what we'll do
Okay.
is we'll have time to go do a little research on it.
Okay.
And then we can just, yeah, go right ahead.
No, I would like to see it on an agenda, whether or not we want to keep the branding.
Okay.
Can we do that?
We can just have a further, basically it's a further conversation about the branding, it's a further conversation maybe about the cost, and we can maybe get our arms around it a little better to make sure what
I mean,
what
I
the
like
what the
that.
re- what I know, but just what the reality is.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess just for the conversation, purposes, all in favor of just moving forward with this and going forward with that. So, and your thoughts going forward or not?
No.
Okay, no. Okay, so 3 yes, 1 no. So move that forward. Okay, the next one is with regards to, hold on, sorry. Next one is regards to town council and with regards to conflict of interest, and that was submitted by Pam Edson.
Okay, so this one I chose to add because this one I would like to see us move on immediately, because I would like this, if it's possible. I understand that this is considered a charter amendment, not a revision, so it doesn't have to be voted on through the Charter Commission, that it can be voted on by the voting public in November, where we have the most public voting, which I think is the best idea. My concern about the conflict of interest is what arose this last time in June, when we had somebody from the town throw their hat in the ring for town council, but the wife worked inside, or the spouse worked inside here at the town of Gray. I just wanted to read, and why I've thought about this is because, like Ann had mentioned on hers, you know, with a code of conduct, the MSAD 15 has a code of conduct. Well, MSAD 15 also has this written into their rules, and it is: a member of the school board or spouse of a member may not be employed in the public school within the jurisdiction of the school board to which that member is elected, or in contract in the high school or academy located within supervisory union in which member is representative or on the union committee. So basically, you can't run for school board if you have a spouse that is a teacher inside the school, or holds any job inside the school. And I understand that this is a state statute. It's not MSAD 15's. This statute is for every school in the state of Maine, that you cannot have a spouse of a teacher or somebody employed on the school board. And I don't know why we would do anything less. And there's several reasons. First of all, I think that the one that stands out the most to me is the fact that, so you have a town manager who manages the spouse, and then you have the counselor who manages the town manager. And I just think there's a level of political protection there offered, where, you know, the town manager may be in a position where they can't, you know, discipline or, you know, it's a different situation, I think. I think there's financial. Obviously, they're voting on they're voting on the budget, which they would have a financial stake. There's a personal relationship. They could have information that, you know, other counselors wouldn't be privy to because they have somebody that works on the inside. And I just think where the conflict of interest isn't just about, it says even the appearance of a conflict of interest. And I think that's really important. And so I just, you know, for the integrity of the board and to have a full board. The reason you have 5 members, 7 members, 3 members, is because you have the odd amount. So when you have one that has to recuse themselves from voting, then you put the board at jeopardy with 4 people. There's just no other way around it. And so, and you know, getting into situations where you have somebody where there is a conflict of interest, you know, it can invalidate a vote and it can actually cause lawsuits. So I would really like to move this forward and have this be on the November ballot for the bulk of the citizens of Gray to vote for, because I don't know why anybody wouldn't vote for this. If this is good enough for MSAD 15 in the state of Maine, certainly I think it's fine for us. That's all I have to say, I think.
Councilor Simon?
Ditto.
Oh, okay. Well, just saying.
I agree with all the things that she just said. So yes, I agree.
Councilor Gass?
I'm open to looking at that language. I haven't looked at the school board's language on that one.
Well, it's on the referral that I sent you at the bottom.
Okay, I would follow along. I just think it's, whether real or perceived, I think there's some pressure on a town manager. There's enough to do, and there's enough to do in this town, and their decisions, whether real or perceived, could be moved by an interaction we have with them or something. If we have a spouse or a partner that works for the town, and again, you know, we're giving the manager their review. We work on their compensation, their future, their goals, and to add the extra level or layer in there that their spouse or partner works for the town, I think is a lot of extra pressure. And I think it could make people in the towns, as the townspeople, question things that we do or question things that they do as well. And I just think it goes down a rabbit hole that I would prefer not to. And again, I think if the school has something in play, probably one of the very few things I would follow in the school system, but I think that would be, I would think that would be something that I would agree to. So I guess I'd like to just take a quick straw poll. I think this would be something that I'd like to move forward with, and then try to get it on the August 4th thing. So I guess at this time, all in favor?
Yep.
All right, there's 4 in favor. All right, beautiful. And so that is good. We can move forward with that, and obviously we can work on that like we do if we can on the August 4th. Okay, thank you. So the next thing is a few items, and I just want to chat about. And I'm going to start with you, Ann, on this when I say this, because you were here with me last year. What are your thoughts with regards to when the town council receives emails? I know last year Mike was the one that responded to those. Should we still have the chair respond to those? And maybe if it's a something that was on shoreland, I would say, they would say something and say, well, Ann, what do you think about this? And then I kind of incorporate that in my email, send it out and copy everybody in. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's been the practice not just last year, but since I've
Okay.
been on the council. I mean, that the council chair responds to emails that are sent to the whole council. I think what's maybe changed since I first got on the council is that, because, for whatever reason, people are more likely to, it's easier to just email the council as a whole, using the town council, group email than to single out individual council members. And so it seems like there may be more traffic that's coming to the council as a whole. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's in some ways a chair issue. If that, the difficulty that you want to avoid is every, or 2 or 3 different council members jumping in on something, because it, then that's, in essence, a meeting, because it involves all of us.
Yes.
And I think that the benefit of having the council chair respond is that, that is the person who is, speaks on behalf of the council when conditions warrant it. So, I mean, I guess my, I don't know. I mean, kind of up to you. If you're feeling like that's too much of a burden, you can make another suggestion. But that still works for me.
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead.
Well, I just had a thought about that, because actually I had talked about this. My daughter-in-law is the assistant town manager in Falmouth, and she had mentioned to me that on difficult questions, and I thought this was a really good idea, Vinny, like if you get a question that maybe has some legal content that you're not sure about, they actually have the town manager or the even if it's something that you need to address, somebody else write it up for you before you send it.
Sure.
And I thought that was really good, instead of just saying something and then wish you didn't, because that would be something I would.
Yeah.
But it is something you could do if you saw something. It could still come from you. I'm just saying that you get some
Yes.
feedback to make sure that what you're saying is.
So what I would do would be, I think, a little different this year in that I would answer them, but I will make sure that I would go out to, like I said, if it was something that I thought you specialize in, or Ann, I'd ask everybody, if it's something I'm not 100% sure on, I'll send an email out to you guys and I'll just say thoughts, but you need to answer me back individually. As Ann said, you can't answer as a group because that's a call, but I may do that. And then on top of that, if it's anything that's legality, I would go to Lauren, we would go to, legal if we needed to, and then get an answer on that. So I think that's the right way to do it. Again, I want to talk to you guys. I don't want to answer for you guys, and anyway, we talked about that, and I'm not going to answer you. I'm going to ask you, and then I'll answer. I'm not going to assume. So that's great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. Other thing, I just want to make sure on the same page, if there's contact with the town or an employee of the town, Lauren, it either needs to go through Lauren or Lauren needs to be copied in on every one of those. We cannot go to anybody without going through Lauren for town contact. So I just want to make sure. So if you needed a report, like say I wanted to meet with, if I was doing more, I don't do it now because it's a standing thing, she knows. But when I would meet with Justine to do warrants, I would say, hey, Justine, I'm coming on Wednesday or Thursday to do warrants, but I copy her in.
Okay.
So she needs to be, we can't go and meet, I can't go and meet, if I want to go see Kyle, I can't really go meet, I need to just out of courtesy and out of proper protocol, I need to say, hey, I'm going to see Kyle, I want to come see you, but I'm going to copy her in. Okay? Yep. The other thing I was going to say is, so also, if it's a simple question, you can go to Lauren, but if it's anything that has to do where the council must have to go and do some work, something we want to change or anything like that, I need to be copied in on it, or it really needs to go through me to go to Lauren. Or you can copy me and you copy Lauren in. But I need to be copied in that. So if it's something simple that you wanted, can you send me a form or whatever? That's fine, but if it's anything that has to do with something that the town council would have to make a decision on, I need to be copied in on it. And that's the protocol. Question?
I'm just saying, is that the protocol? I'm
Yeah.
just,
That's the protocol we like
Okay.
to use because things get muddy, and I think that's what happens is, nobody wants to get blindsided and things get muddy, and I don't want anybody saying something that they shouldn't, that I might want to go help them on, etc. So if it's something that's basic, go for it, but if something that we're going to have to make a decision on, then Lauren's probably going to send it to me anyway, so it'd be better just to copy me in on it.
okay.
The other thing I was going to ask is with regards to Facebook. Right now, comments are shut off
What?
on Facebook.
Oh,
Facebook for the town.
yeah.
Comments are shut off right now. I know it was a crazy election and a lot of stuff went on, but the reality is it is the townspeople's town. Do we open that back up and allow people to comment? And obviously, if we have the ability to, if it gets out of hand, to address it. But I kind of like to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that's something that we should do? I feel, I'll start it off and just say that I feel like we should let people, if people want to talk. I mean, I would love to get positive thoughts and I'd like to get positive ideas and suggestions. But I just think telling people they can't say anything, I just think it creates animosity. And I'd just like to get your thoughts on that.
Well, the difficulty is that it's hard to police speech, right? I mean, people
Yes.
have First Amendment right to say whatever they want, including things that are lies or are misinformation or disinformation. Or
mean.
things
Or
that are
mean,
things that are positive, and so I think that's and it's a bit of a it's a bit hard sometimes to know what's going on. I think so when you allow the comments, then either everybody gets to say whatever they want, or nobody gets to comment. And I think because people are so sort of rude and vile these days often, frankly, I just think it's better to cut off the comments.
Okay.
I'm with Ann.
All right.
Yeah, shut them off.
So-
It's a dumpy ground
But
for drama.
I did have to ask Lauren a question this week because I didn't understand why when they put up the thing about the transfer station adding New Gloucester, to the August 22nd, bring all your hazardous and all your stuff. People were commenting on that, but they couldn't comment on like adding the new finance staff account. And she did explain that to me. There is a difference apparently, and I did not know that, with something that is an event versus a posting. So events, they cannot turn off the comments, and I didn't understand that.
Good to know. I didn't know that either.
All right, cool. Okay, so we'll just start. Again, we don't even have to vote on that. We just kind of move forward. All right. So the last thing I have on this is I know we have a list of current referrals, and they've been there. It's like they're always there. We look at them every time, and I kind of just wanted to go through them and see if we might be in agreement to removing some of them by a straw poll. And so the first one is the comprehensive plan for rezoning. The Ordinance Advisory Committee is working on that. So I don't think that we need to have this on our agenda as an item, because they're working on it right now. I should say, on the liaison, we're working on it right now, and that's something that will come up. But it's even if it's not there, it's being worked on. So I kind
But
of like.
it's not finished yet. I would leave it myself.
Do you want to leave it?
Yeah.
Okay. Your thoughts? I mean, we can leave it. It's
It doesn't hurt anything to leave it.
okay.
right?
All right. Obviously, we're going to leave the next one.
Yeah, because it's current. Yeah.
So the other one that I would feel a little bit more strongly, I know that they are working on tons of ordinances and tons of things, and I think this, for now, I'd like to see if we would be in agreement on just removing this pop-up business ordinance.
Because they're working on it.
They're not working on it. They have
There's
so many
nothing
other. They have so
scheduled.
many other things that they are working on right now that are. I mean, we're trying to do.
We don't need to do anything with this.
No, we could. I'm just saying. if somebody wants to bring it up down the line, let's bring it back up.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay, let's take it off.
So would you be okay with doing that?
Yep.
We do that? Ann?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody's clamoring for it, so.
Okay, all right, so we're agreeing that we can remove that one. All right, beautiful. Can somebody tell me what the update on the public safety ordinance is? I don't even know what that is.
No clue.
I think that, good Lord, it's,
We have some information on that.
yeah, thank you.
Please.
There is no update to provide.
Okay.
So can we just remove that one as well?
Yep, go for
Will
it.
you be okay with that, Ann?
I'm trying to remember, this might be a resiliency thing, but I think
If it is, we can put it back on. I'm just trying to,
well, we're not working on it right now, so I think
and
it's
we can
okay
bring
to
any,
take it off
here's the
right
thing,
now.
all right,
Yeah.
beautiful. We can bring anything back on. I'm just trying to clean, it's just.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just, there's just so much. All right, so the Village Transformation Project, we know, I guess we can leave that, but we know that that's in motion, so we'll leave that on. Policy review,
Is that the personnel policy?
I think I think, remember, Mike had sort of commanded us
yes,
to,
okay, so the policy review is we have all the policies, they were going through every single policy in the past, and I know Britt did a ton of work on printing up all the information. I just think for now,
We do want to go over personnel policy.
but that would
That's
be,
different?
all right, so if you wanted to do that, that would be a separate thing, that would not be
That's
this.
going to be my next.
Okay, that would mean, all right, so we can get rid of this one as well?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
I would like to remove the next one as well,
Well,
which is
did
the
that
mooring.
get finalized, or did you
The
take
mooring,
it
no.
out of the warrant then?
Nothing,
Nothing?
nothing.
So there's no ordinance or
There's
anything?
no
for
nothing,
warrants?
nope. So I'd like to remove that as
We'll
well.
remove it.
Um,
Even Raymond and Big
I-
Sebago
so
don't
are you-
have any
would you-
ordinances on it.
Pam, would you be okay with
mooring
that?
ordinance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this is actually one that Mike put in, but if he hadn't, I was going to. I mean, the lake associations are concerned that there's no restrictions now. Anybody can moor their boat anywhere, and including in front of your dock or something like that, and stay there all summer, all season. And I think, I don't know, I think it is happening to some degree in Little Sebago Lake. I don't know to what extent it's happening in the other lakes, but I think the legislature took a stab at a year or so ago at coming up with a state law prohibiting it, but I don't think they got anywhere. It didn't pass. I mean, I think it's still an issue because there are water quality issues, but it's not something that the Resiliency Committee is currently working on. And I don't know. It seems. I think we have other priorities. I just think it's something that the council should be aware of. We can certainly revisit it if we.
I would revisit it. I'd like to distribute, but I would absolutely revisit it because I think that would require us to hire.
You know what?
Like I don't know the word would require us to hire like
Big Sebago
a
doesn't
harbor
even have it.
master.
Yeah, Big
And require
Sebago.
us to do a few other things. So I just think
Yeah.
we could move it off, and I just think when it comes out, if it does come back next time, we're going to need a lot more information because, like I said, you need a harbor master, you need a boat, you need a lot of.
Right, we don't want this.
Well, I mean, that's going to be up to, if obviously somebody brings it forward, we'll address it. But for now, I'm just
No.
going to take that off the list. And then the last one, so the mooring ordinance come off. The last one we're going to leave because I know that's something that Ann and I have talked about, but I know Ann's worked on that, which is that the ambulance service right now, when an ambulance goes to pick somebody up, if they don't pay or they can't pay, the town is going to eat that cost.
And it's like
And-
$50,000 a year, right?
Yeah, and she's right, it was substantial. So with the insured risk pool is like, instead of paying for that, I don't know, $1,500 ambulance ride, you could, for lack of a better word, you would pay like $50 a year or whatever, $100 a year. You'd pay like an insurance policy, and that way if something happens, you're covered and they would do your transport. And what that would help us do is that would help us recoup some of that cost that we potentially could lose.
Well, if broke people don't have the money for the ambulance ride, they're not going to have it for the $50.
Well, it's
Other towns, no, it's not true. Other towns have done this, and I've spoken to.
I would want to speak to that.
Oh, geez, I'm blank. Porter? No, it wasn't Porter. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of the town. But there are a bunch of other towns that have done this in York and Cumberland counties, And because not everybody takes an ambulance ride every year, right? I mean, the money, it may take a few years for the pool to grow to the point where it fully covers all the costs, but you know, where the folks that I've spoken to say that they're making, you know, they've got more money than they use in their pool. It's sort of a self-insurance kind of thing that the town does, and but it's not funded by taxpayers, you know, through the property tax. It's funded by individuals and businesses and families who want this insurance, and I, you know, I have done some preliminary. Medical reimbursement services, I think, who manages our accounts, was the one who brought this up and recommended it. It seems to work really well in other towns.
I mean, the reality is, it's not gonna cost us anything to look at it. And,
Right.
and as Ann said, some of the towns seem like they're doing okay with it, so it's worth a shot. And again, that helps, you know, when you look at the town, you're like, oh, what's your cost of lights? What's your cost of this? But there are other costs that you just don't see, and you never, it's something we wouldn't think about.
Right.
That the ambulances, there must be, and so it's all these things. So, and it's never one thing that eats all your money. It's little things. So if we could chew away at some of these little things, I think that'd be great. So perfect.
And it's a good service. For
it is a good service. Yes.
For the people of the town. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for going over this. I know those are no fun, but I just think it just helps clean up.
Yeah.
So I guess at this time, the Gray Town Council, let's see,
Before you stop, can I ask you the workshop?
No, you go ahead.
The workshop, August 4th, what is that for?
Is it, Britt, is it solar?
Right?
And who determines if we have a workshop?
So, is it solar?
The next workshop?
Yeah. All right, so the way the workshops are determined moving forward is that if a workshop comes up and you want to have a workshop on something, or somebody, 2 or more counselors have to support that to get on the docket for a workshop. What happened is we just had a bunch added last year, and that wasn't the process we used. They just got added.
So
A few places, like solar, that's coming on, we kind of bumped them along the line this year, so it wasn't really
is this the
fair.
gentleman
There's
that's
a couple
now
different,
speaking?
yeah. So it wasn't, so even though 2 councils haven't approved it, we're doing the right thing. They should come, they had the opportunity, you know, they should be allowed to speak and come in, so we're gonna let them, but after that, moving forward, if somebody wants to come in for a workshop, we just need to have 2 counselors okay it.
Okay.
But we already have a second one for the next August meeting, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple, so we're trying, oh, and I think the next workshop might be, is it, what time of year? There's a couple solar ones. One is for Howells and, is it?
The first one,
The
True Value.
True Value. They want to put a rotating solar unit in that follows the sun. And the next one is, I believe they want to talk to us, somebody wants to come to talk to us about purchasing the solar cornfield.
So the first one on August 4th is for the solar array purchase.
Thank you.
And then the one on August 18th, I believe, August 18th is for the solar ordinance.
All right, so those are the 2 switched around. So basically, our solar ordinance has certain requirements about heights and stuff, and they want to come talk to us about, they want to come to talk to us about it so that Howells and this other place could move forward with these projects, which would save them a substantial amount of money. And so, but the first one, I guess, on August 4th is about the solar field. They're gonna come and talk to us about it. If we want to buy it or not. But that's not my decision.
The town solar array, or
The big,
on the bypass?
Yes, on the bypass. Yeah, on the bypass. Yes, thank
The
you.
one,
Thank you.
by the
Yeah.
transfer station.
Yeah.
Not the
absolutely.
one by the transfer
Oh, that's
station.
gonna be interesting.
Not the one by the
Yeah,
train.
That's
the municipal-
that's
the
the
municipal
municipal one
solar-
where we have the option to purchase.
Yes.
That's the one, I believe, Britt, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So by the
Okay.
transfer station?
The one by the transfer station is owned, that's town
That's
owned.
town.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the option of purchasing
Right.
it, so.
Okay,
And-
so that's what that
yeah.
discussion is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
All right, makes sense.
I know you had sent me something, and I do definitely want to bring those up next time, because I think those were really
Right.
poignant to look, we should be looking at every option. So, Does anybody else have any other things they want to touch on with regards to just in general? Good. All right, beautiful. Okay. All right, so.
I did want to say something. Do we want to do this August 22nd transfer station for another town? I mean, I was a little surprised by it, that we let New Gloucester residents, do we want to go forward with that and make our employees take on that extra work?
You know,
That's just a question.
It's a good question. Being of the capitalist nature, I think if we do it, I think it should be a break even. If we do it, we should get something out of it, or we should make something out of it if we're going to do it. Meaning, you know, if we are having our employees do this, or an employee spend the extra time, and we are taking that in and processing it, it should be a break even. It should be.
How are we gonna break even with hazardous waste?
Well, there's a cost to dispose, whatever that.
Right, it's gonna cost us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As long as we should.
Even on this
keeping
deal,
track
this is
of
gonna
that?
be a cost to the
Oh,
town.
what, are they weighing it or what?
I'd have to ask. I don't know. I'd have to ask John that. But we should be making just like when we do the Great New Gloucester with the rec department. There should be a. I mean, in
Yeah,
things to look at.
don't
There
say
should.
that.
I know,
Don't
but
go
there,
there.
there should be if we're using our facilities. You know, remember we have to redo the floors in the gym. You have to do all those things. We need to take, and this is with everything. We need to take a long, hard look at that and make sure that we're being. We want to be fair, but we should be getting something in return for that.
Well, so if we're not, but my question is this, we just spent all this time trying to narrow down who is a Gray resident using our transfer station and who is not, but now we're going to open up the whole day for all kinds of people that are not Gray residents to come to our it just makes no sense to
It
me,
does.
that's all.
Fortunately, we have a year to think about it.
No, we could do something about it now.
No, but I'm just saying we have time to think about it because it's not till, it's once a summer? It's once a summer, but you're right. I think that's a thing to bring up and I think we should look at it.
We only have till, what is it, it's August?
We can do
It's,
something
No, they already had it.
No,
Oh, they haven't had it.
It's not, no.
Oh, all right.
it's more than a month away, Vinnie.
I think we need to nip it in the bud and get rid of it.
I do want to point out, though, we do keep track of, there's a certain line that they have to go through. We do check stickers. We keep track of the New Gloucester residents and what they dispose of, and we bill New Gloucester for that.
Are we making?
Why is
oh,
New
all
Gloucester
right.
not doing their own hazardous waste?
It's been done this way for over a decade.
Doesn't mean it's
just it.
right,
No,
though.
it doesn't, but I'm just explaining to you that that's why we've continued to just have it as one day. And I
Yeah.
can't answer to you as why not.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, the whole point of the exercise is to remove hazardous waste from being disposed of at the end of my driveway on North Raymond Road, when where a lot of junk ends up, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I think it's, and you know, one way to lower costs is to regionalize services. And I think, you know, combining two towns in one day makes sense. Sounds like we have a way of monitoring the New Gloucester folks coming in and billing New Gloucester. I mean, why wouldn't we do that?
Well, why don't we let New Gloucester do it? Why are we doing it for New Gloucester? I mean, it's like every time we turn around, we're doing all kinds of stuff for New Gloucester, but I don't see it switching the other way.
Almost twice the size of New Gloucester, maybe?
Well, I know, but, yeah, they have their own transfer station. Why aren't they doing it themselves?
As long as it's, and we have to determine what that number is, as long as it's profitable
Yeah, that's it.
for us. As long as it's profitable for us and
Well, we're not gonna know that till it's over, and then we can
well,
find out it was a
they
loss.
must know, there must be a way, I mean,
Can you look back and
How
find
does
out
We
if it
do
was?
use our staff. We don't charge we don't.
but what I'm saying is, as long, we have to have something in place that we can all talk about, and this is something we should, that we figure out what's the proper charge for our staff, what's the proper charge for we have to figure that out and make sure that it's profitable for us.
Well, we
we're
ought to
not-
look back at the last one and find out if we lost money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And again, it's, you know, it's like a house. You gotta put your insulation everywhere to stop the leaks. And that's the thing is, we need to look at all these things. But I agree. We need to look at that. But again, if it's, you know, to Ann's point, you don't want people dumping, you know, like the mattresses. We don't want to jack the price up too high. People dumping them on the side of the road.
Right.
If we can go to one place, I'm okay. But we just got to make sure that we're not losing money on it. We're making money on it.
Right.
That's my big thing. And then it goes right down to employees, to vehicles, to everything.
Well, we're not charging a premium to, like, in anything in addition. So yes, we are using our staff. Yes, we are using so we're not charging New Gloucester for that.
So we're
it
not
does-
making a profit.
So we're not, it's not intended right now for a
To make a
profit. It's not a
profit.
profit.
So we're gonna lose money on staff.
And I'm saying, I don't want to lose, we shouldn't be losing money on the process. I'm not saying we need to make,
I just wanted to
20.
let you know.
No, that's right. I mean, we don't
we're
need to make
not-
20 grand, but, if it's a day that we can make,
We're not
We're not
making
making money.
that's what I'm saying. If we're not making money, then that's a concern.
Well, it's just said that we're not
We're
making
not
So-
making money. It's just that they're gonna pay for their hazardous waste, we're gonna pay for ours. There's no money
Yeah.
being made, Vinnie.
No, we're losing our
But,
staff.
I mean,
for
is
that.
it, yeah, we're using our staff, but they're there anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
doing
not
double
there
work.
extra time because of the New Gloucester
It's gonna be a
residents
lot more
coming in.
work for our staff.
I mean, sometimes there are volunteers from the town who help out. I know that in the past, recycling committee did, I don't know recently, I think there have been some volunteers who've helped out.
I know now, but I mean,
Well, I
I
think the concern that I'm hearing from Councillor Edson and Semino is that they want to change this year's event. That's what I'm hearing, correct? That's
I
what
would like to do.
they want to, yeah. And I don't know if that's something that
means
the
that
council wants to cancel it or just wants to say no New Gloucester residents. I'm just looking for some.
Trying to understand.
but let Gray have their residents do
That-
it, and
that-
let New Gloucester do their own thing. New Gloucester has a transfer station, there's no reason why we should be doing it all now.
what's our next meeting?
The 4th, August 4th.
It isn't like.
All right, so let's
It's not a council
let's
vote on this, is it, really?
If you're going to, well, it would have to be a council decision to not hold it or change it, which, that's certainly your decision.
Well, Sonny, I mean, you're gonna change it. I mean, what's the date? August, when's that
August
happen?
22nd.
So why don't we, when Mike's back here, why don't we talk about this on August 4th?
Because we can't change it if it's August 22nd.
We could change it any,
I'm just trying to find out right
oh, you mean,
August 22nd for sure.
now. It's August, is the 22nd.
I'm absolutely positive it's on my
Yeah, so
husband's
August
birthday.
22nd, so if we can't change it, we'll give them a week's notice.
Of the 4th.
August 4th to the 22nd, that's a couple of weeks.
Saturday, August 22nd, yeah. From 9 to noon is the hazardous. It's 3 hours, it's not the whole day. Let's do it.
Like your new voice.
Like I said, I mean, we've advertised it already.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
If we're gonna do something, we have to do it now.
Well, I say, what, do we just do this one and going forward, we're not doing this again? I don't think we need to have our staff doing that kind of stuff.
Or if we do, we need to charge appropriately for it.
Yeah. You guys aren't wearing your mics.
Yes.
I have a cold and I don't want to blow my nose in my mic.
So move forward this year, but reevaluate hard.
Move forward
Is
this
that
year,
fair?
cancel
Council
Well,
Gasser?
I won't be here in a year, so you guys can do what you want.
Well, you don't know that. We could be making the decision in January, February, and doing it
Oh,
ahead of
okay.
time.
All right,
I would like to get something in play ahead, and again,
I mean, I think in the scheme of things, this is pretty small potatoes on it.
Yes.
I would
Well,
agree,
let's
but
move on. We're
I
done.
think it's more the principle of the.
I'm just thinking about our staff and the fact that
Yeah.
we've just spent time trying to weed people out of our dump, and then we say, come to our dump. It just seems like it's like an oxymoron or something.
Okay.
Okay, can we agree just to leave it
okay,
as it
so-
is
so
next
we can-
year?
All right, so we can
Yep.
agree right now that we're going to leave this year alone and we're going to look at it.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Goodness.
All right. All right. So next, executive session, the Gray Town Council will enter into executive session under.
At the end.
There's no public comment at the end.
We have in the past.
It's not in.
Right.
Hold on, I'm looking.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not,
What?
yeah, it's
Yeah, but
not.
they've sat here all night, and we usually let people speak at the end. We have always let people speak.
It's not on the.
Well, that's,
3 minutes at the beginning.
It's only 3 minutes. It's only, unfortunately, it's the way this agenda's set up. It's 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes at the beginning, and it's 3 minutes on each item that comes up other than the referral items, you can comment on 3 minutes on that, but there's no 3 minutes at the end.
We didn't give everybody a chance to comment.
We did, everybody had a chance on all those. Yes, yes, on every order, you know, farmer's market, they had the chance to come up and,
Well, this had to do with code of conduct and conflict.
Point of information.
yes,
Previous council chair had asked for the second public comment to be removed from the agenda, so that's why it's no longer listed.
okay,
Well,
okay, so,
And the
all right, so come up.
The code of conduct was on the agenda.
It was on the agenda, but, so
we
so
should
come
not
up.
be discussing it and public comments.
So it's a little uncomfortable, but I think it's important because we're talking about code of conduct and conflict of interest. And Council Gass should have recused herself when the vote came for me to be on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Council Gass has sued me. It cost me over $100,000.
All right, I'm gonna, not to be rude, I'm just gonna list, just because it's not on the agenda, I get where you're going with that, but let's just,
Okay, so on a, okay.
so I'm saying is, I'm gonna follow up, which I should, I'm gonna follow up what we have on the agenda, which is 3 minutes at the beginning, 3 minutes on the items that we could talk about, but there was no, unfortunately, there was no closing
Okay. comments.
But I appreciate you gonna say, I just, out of being respect for everybody, I'm just gonna.
Okay, so, sorry, Scotty. But what I do want to say is, one chair made the decision that public comment couldn't go on at the
No,
end.
it's, if you look at the agenda as it's laid out,
No, I see what it looks like.
it would say public
But can we
comment.
change it for next time?
We can, we can. We
Okay.
can, that's something
I
we
would
can have a
like-
conversation, yeah, that's something we can have a conversation about. But but right now, tonight, I think the right thing to do is follow what we have in place.
Okay.
And that's all I'm saying, so yeah.
Okay.
But yes, we could change we could,
I think we should, because if people sit here this long
I agree,
and they want to say something.
I
think
agree,
they
you know, but the reality
But
is.
would they sit here if they knew there was no public comment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, but the reality is, everybody can see the agenda, it's all out, it
Right.
says when you can talk and when you can't. and I'm
Right.
just
So
trying to-
should she have reclused herself from voting on that topic, like he had
That-
said?
No, that's, I guess
It's a conflict of interest.
but the reality is that's, I guess up to.
That's ridiculous. I
That's-
mean, it was 30, I don't know, 3 years ago? I mean,
I
it's
guess,
a really long time.
when it comes up to it, I guess, you know, when it comes up to it, it would be, you have to make that decision as a counselor, do you feel? And then I guess if it got something that was bigger, I guess you'd vote on it, I don't know.
Whatever, it's already done.
But it's already done. All right, so at this time, the motion, Gray Town Council will enter.
5 minutes.
Yes, into executive session under MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, subsection 405-6A to discuss personnel matters. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second, all right, take a vote, all in favor? Okay, one more. I need a motion
No,
to.
that's after.
Oh, that's when we go?
It's after we come out.
Oh,
To go in,
well-
then you have to come out. to
Oh,
adjourn.
God, okay, all right. Enough, we're coming out.
I'm not doing